All right, question for Is. Would you kill your child, your son, if your God told you to?
You said the Most High told me to?
Yeah.
Or man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
A 22-year-old woman told hotel workers in Holmes County that she had been directed by God. To go on a shooting spree about the solar eclipse, and that not long after she left the hotel in a purple Dodge Challenger driving to the interstate, traveling west, shooting into two cars. One of the drivers was shot in the neck, the other grazed in his arm.
If your God came to you right now, tonight, in pomp and glory, shining, and he commanded the death of your child, would you sacrifice your child?
If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
Peter Lucas Moses refers to himself as a radical religious person who is with the Black Hebrews. And he just pleaded guilty to killing a 4-year-old and a woman that he was living with. He killed the 4-year-old because he thought he was gay.
Moses believed 4-year-old Higginbotham was homosexual. Klein says Moses took Higginbotham to the garage, played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and shot him.
If God came to you and told you to sacrifice your kid, would you sacrifice your kid?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called the terrible, demon-like power. So Napa means empty, you could say, or open. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible.
According to the criminal complaint, Polite told investigators God told him to shoot Pastor Germany. And he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind.
Would you kill your child or your grandchild if your God told you to?
Oh, man.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes. But I think that it would be a test. I don't think the Lord would actually tell you to do it. I think it would just be a test because we can see.
You'd be willing to go through with it?
I'll go through any trial the Lord puts me through.
Leader Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God, one day in 1981, her North Dade home became a house of death. Banks and her husband, Carlton Carey, had just returned from talking with police about another Yahweh member who had been decapitated. Today, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is charged in her attempted murder and the death of her husband. October 1986, Yahweh's takeover in an Opa-locka apartment building. Two residents who were ordered to leave publicly complained. That night, both were shot to death.
Wow! Judah, do you hear me? If the Most High Yahweh tells you to kill your family, would you do it? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Oh, Judah, no. Damn.
Judah didn't mean that, y'all.
If the Most High say, put your family down, would you do it for the Most High?
By faith, yes. By faith, yes.
By faith, yes.
But he's going to tell me not to do it, just like he did Abraham. We have a story like that already. Next.
The moral law is that if a child was to be rebellious, towards their parents, they was to be taken out and be stoned to death because of that. You see what I'm saying?
Would you do that? Would you do that if your God came back to you today in glory and said, I want you to stone your son if he get rebellious? Would you? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow. The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off
your loved ones, would you do it, brother?
If I had made the mistake, if I didn't have ancestors inside of me and I made the mistake to make babies with outside nations, and then I heard the download from my ancestors saying that you need to put them away, yes, I will put them away. Yes, I will put them away.
Yes, I will put them away.
Okay, Judah Nazareth, if the Most High come to you and say, I want you to put down your family, I have a better movement for you that I need you to do, would you do it?
They're out of here. They're out of here. They're out of here.
Oh, wait. You heard it for yourself, boy. That ain't slander. That is not slander. Right out the horse's mouth. These boys and swivel hips women's, they worship a damn demon. You understand? Their God and the Creator are not, excuse me. Their God and the Creator is not the same. Not the same at all. In any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's not in the same ballpark. It's not in the same league. We ain't even in the same sport. Hell, y'all don't play ball anyway. Ain't no points up on the board. All praises to the ever-present Creator, the maker of suns, moons, and stars, the God maker. That always was, is, and ever shall be. The mighty and great Spirit, the mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. It's your little brother, Malaki Macabee, the megaton light bomb, 1,000,000 tons of light to crack the skulls of you mealy-mouthed midgets that are dwelling in darkness. What's the word, gang? Creative gang is in the building. I see y'all in the chat. Y'all hit that thumbs up, that like button, sure. Get us spinning in the algorithm. Yeah. It's the gang they love to hate, boy, but we right back at it. Right back like I left something. All praises, glory, and honor. Yeah, man. We played it every once in a while just to show the people, like, look, there is no comparison. You can't compare us, the Creator gang. Those who have an unwavering, unflinching faith in the ever-present Creator. The omnipotent one, meaning all powerful. The omniscient one, meaning knows all, foreknowledge, all knowledge, not ignorant, all powerful, not weak. Unseen, meaning ain't nobody ever seen him. Ain't nobody ever seen Creator. And what are you mad about that one for? It tell you right in John 1:18, John 5:37, and 1 John 4:12. No man have seen the Father at any time. So what are you mad about? What are you offended about? And also ever present or omnipresent, meaning what? Filleth all space and place at once. Yeah, we ain't talking about the same one. They just said demon. And y'all, these are so-called, prestigious so-called Israelites. Prestigious, famous. You got everybody in there from Captain Crunch to Zaryak all the way down to that mental midget living in Japan that goes by the name of Judah Nazareth, who admitted his God put a gay demon on him. I'm like, boy, these boys keep waxing worse and worse. When you hear him say absolutely yes, or yeah, he would, and you hear JJ 7000 who sound like he got a legion of demons in his throat. Oh man, Judah didn't mean that, y'all. And he came right back behind him and said, I do though. Make no mistake about it, family. These people worship the devil. Their God is a demon, a monster, like my bro say. Their Jesus is Dracula. And their book was written by vampires under the inspiration of Satan. I say, oh, boy, the minister of wellness, Nathaniel Jordan, couldn't have stated it more clearer. Shout out to my brother, the minister of wellness. Shout out to the 4 horsemen, the CGG, created gang in this deal. My brother Selah Shalom, y'all go like, subscribe, share. My brother Cosmon Cal, like, subscribe, share. My brother Daryl Cosmon, like, subscribe, share. And I'm the little brother, Mikey, Malaki Macabee, the Megaton Light Bomb. Like, subscribe, share. Shout out to the sisters too, man. Much love. Nothing but love. Hey, y'all go ahead and forward this out. Belt to ass. But y'all thought I was up and look, belt to ass until these boys get in the ring. Worst thing y'all could have did was come for us. We'll make you famous. Belt to ass. Get that ass in the ring. Your God is demonic. Your book is corrupted, and all of y'all are mental midget demons. Debate it. Get that ass in the ring. Belt to ass. We on y'all helmet. We on your God helmet and your helmet. Huh? Until you tap out. Create a gang in this thing. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. Shout out to the undergrads, man. CG. Create a gang music. Rocking out, baby. It's it.
Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted. Records get twisted. Truth wasn't written, it lived and applied. Images carved, but they not what they imply. Copies get lifted and passed to the scribes. Hands on the script, but it slowly run dry. Circles and lines held the truth they can't hide. Pointing to the all, but reduced to a sign. Told not to seek it, just stay and comply. But light get diminished the moment it's time. Priests in the center, the people outside. Words getting filtered before they even apply. Gatekeepers shaping what souls can't defy. Twist the truth in the text so the ego align. Nothing was said about looking inside. All of the noise outside keep the mind occupied. Truth was a whisper they learned to divide. Buried in the scriptures that were written in lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Voices get carried and shift in the span. Truth leave the source, get reshaped by hand. Spoken outside, but not part of the plan. So hear it clear without the preaching of man. Leaders keep building the heavens they command. Guards along the path, so it passed through a brain. Teaching the code, so obedience stand. Blocking the truth from the masses caught up in the sham. Some start to notice it wasn't so grand. The rise and decline all across the land. Stories get buried, then uncovered in sand. Every time echo patterns they don't understand. Reading all the records, the mind expands. Seeing the same cycle that once sunk pan. The meanings got altered the further they ran. And they took it as truth, then made laws and declared. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth turn into lies. Looking at records, the truth can be known. Same things repeated, then written in stone. Teachings get layered and widely outgrown. Deeper foundations not built in the homes. Voices not living now, setting the tone. Taking his law, 9 followers grown. Those who will question get left on their own. Told just accept what the elders condone. Patterns keep repeating, times clearly flown. Rising and falling the ways they have grown. Nothing was random, the seeds had been sown. Cycles keep turning and the harvest is wrong. Some start to see it and question the throne. Some keep defending when the proof has been shown. Nothing to argue, the cover's been blown. Just seeing it clear with no need to atone. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is Oahspe's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Yeah.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Emma Huber, you should be right in the building now. I just got you together, Emma. Much love. Y'all already know what time it is, man. False God tripping, creator gang banging. Y'all see the title of Oahspe. The book the world is in fear of. Clearing up rumors, part 2. Yesterday we got on Belt Ass. Belt Ass. The Girl Scouts of Israel are running. I'll make you famous. Well, expose you for the mental midgets and cowards that you really are. You boys lower than Schnell nuts, man. Y'all have 0 on the scoreboard. 0 on the scoreboard. Don't none of you boys play ball, man. Not at all. Our sisters play more ball than y'all. Y'all don't play ball. 0 on the scoreboard. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my brother Dreadful Cosmon. The West Side Cali Connect is in the building. What's the word, fam? Peace, love, light, healing, and all that good stuff in between. Prayers of comfort for you and your family, brother. And may your mother-in-law experience all the glories that the Creator has for her, brother. Death is just another moment for us, bro. You know, for us that know. You dig? This deal keep going. So may she rise in power and experience all the marvelous glories that the Creator has for her, brother. Condolences. Shout out to the CGG. Emma Huba Lifestyle is in the building. Hub City of Compton in the building. All the way up to Pennsylvania. And anywhere in between. Emma be on the move. Emma be on the move. Much love, Emma. Emma be moving, baby. Shout out to Emma Huba. Emma Mahalia is in the building from Flow Rider all the way up to Ohio is in the building. Much love, much love. All praises to the ever-present Creator. May He continue to guide you and protect you. All of us, all of y'all. Believe that, know that. Much love, Emma. Shout out to my brother Prince Judah Vaughn in the building. Hollered at my brother briefly last night. The young prince is outside. Creator gang banging. False God tripping. Yeah. We supposed to be out here, false God tripping. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Much love. May the Creator continue to guide you and protect you, my brother. Young Prince. I got my brother, the DC Sniper, in the building, boy. My brother. What's the word? Yeah, man. Hey, we've been pissing off the right folk in this hour. And inspiring the right folk in this hour, man. But shout out to my brother, the DC Sniper. Known this brother a very, very long time. And believe it or not, a lot of folk think it was somebody else. The first brother that actually put me on that we not supposed to be chewing on flesh. Look, y'all, before Yaki Hickman put out there that we wasn't supposed to be eating flesh. This brother right here. I remember he passed me a video off Facebook. A brother was going in on how we ain't supposed to be chewing on chicken wings. You did, and that brother gave me that video. I couldn't even debunk it. I just was like, okay. And I think I had just went to JJ's Chicken in St. Louis and bought me a big old pan full of chicken. Like, well, this chicken finna get tore from the rooter to the tutor. But the first brother that put on my radar, we wasn't supposed to be eating flesh, and this had to be like, what? Damn, what was that, boy? Like 2016, 2017, something like that? It was actually Malaki Macabee, the DC Sniper. I was thinking about that today. I said, man, he actually was the first brother that put on my radar, hey, look, that came right out and said it. You know what I mean? I think young Yaki has started making this transition. You feel me? But he really wasn't saying nothing. Like, he really wasn't like, hey, he just was like, you know, I ain't finna be eating that. But the brother that was like, hey, bro, I don't think it's lawful to be chewing on that shit. I'm like, what chewing on what? He like, man, that yard bird, that chicken. You know what I mean? I was thinking about that today. I say, you know what? Let me go ahead and shout out my bro out. Cause you was the first one put that on my radar. I'll never forget that. Dang, that's wild. Shout out to my brother, the DC sniper, Malaki Macabee. Javon Turner on Facebook, man. Y'all link in with your bro, man. Oh, Nazarene Fate this in the building. You know what I mean? Straight shooter. And you know, he pissing off a lot of folk too. He pissing off a lot of folk around this deal, man. People starting to get offended. But hell, they'll be all right, man. You dig? Much love, much love. Who else we got up in the building? Credit gang. That's my sister Samisha in the building. Good to see Misha. It's good to see you more on the regular, Misha. You know, it was a little dry spell. I ain't see you for a minute. But shout out to my sister, man. Misha don't be playing. You dig? And look, sis, when you get laser focused, it be a problem. Everybody be ducking. So I love to see you in that zone when you just focus. Like, look, man, later for all the distractions, man, I'm about to go in. Much love to my sister Misha, the CGG Credit Gang. I see you, sis. Keep shining. You feel me? Who else we got up in here? Screen Flipper Zoe, my brother Yazo. The brother that put me in touch with Selah Shalom back in 2021. It was Zoe that put us on the phone together. Yep, and it's been an unbroken bond ever since, brother. May the Creator bless you for that, man. Put me right on the phone with Selah, and it's been on and cracking since. My brother Yazo, Screen Flipper Zoe. Talked to him this morning too. It was good talking to you, brother. You know what I mean? Much love, light, and all that good stuff in between. Straight out of H-Time. Straight out of H-Time, my brother. You still driving trucks out? You probably out on the road somewhere. Much love, much love. I got my sister Angelic, Michigan in the building. Stand up. Michigan in the building. Stand up. May the Creator continue to guide all of us, man. Love and light. James Giant in the building. What's the word? Creator's favors upon thou. Athanias in the building. Creator's favors upon thou. Absolutely. Gang. Selah Shalom. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Get y'all on the Oahspe. Go to his playlist. He the first brother, you know what I mean, to kick the YouTube dogs down 15, almost 20 years ago with this. Oh, you dig? If you want to catch up and see what we talking about, you need to go to Selah Shalom University. You can go to his channel, subscribe to him, share his channel, like the channel, go to his playlist, crack open your Oahspe, and hurry up and learn. Because he got the whole deal broken down in the subjects, man. You know what I mean? It's all their videos 15 years old, 12 years old. He got a debate on there with an Israelite elder that, oh my God, man. I think that was back in what, 2015, Selah, something like that? Man, he debated the elder on, I think it was time or something. I think it was time. It wasn't even creation. It was time. That boy Selah, that's when Sonny Gallo was out. Well, that boy Selah went over to the... Well, that boy went over there and pulled out a scroll so long and rolled it out on the floor. Then grabbed his long little pointer and, oh my God, I'm talking about school the Israelite elder. The Israelite elder had been in the Bible 30 plus years at the time. He couldn't get out of Genesis, the first page. Selah made him look lower than snail nuts. This was back in 2015. I saw it back then too, but you know, sometimes, man, we be so much into what we got going on. I really ain't had no time to investigate. But I remember when I saw it and just being real with myself, I was like, dang, the elder got his ass whooped. This boy Selah went and grabbed a scroll so long, that he made up out of loose leaf paper, but he had it scrolled out like a Torah scroll. Nigga had it rolled up. He rolled that sucker out, boy. And it's the timetables of prophecy. You know what I mean? If you want to know about the timetables of prophecy, you got to tap in with the game. You got to come get a crash course in this Oahspe. Oahspe got his own timeline. Oh, wait. It was a slaughter. And let Selah tell you what happened at the end. The elder had to do about 80 push-ups in a row. Yeah, he lost. Creator's undefeated, boy. Shout out to my brother Mayaka Allah. You know what I mean? Formerly of the Lions of Israel. You know, he's a camp brother right here. Met this brother in the flesh. Good brother. Shalom, King. Good brother, man. Much love. You be safe out there on that road, my brother. My brother. Yeah, that's right. Selah, fall season. It's God's falling season. Yeah, y'all gods always fall messing with the gang around this time of the year. Always fall. Who else we got up in here? We got my brother EG in the building. What up, EG? What's the word, Ock? Much love, man. May the Creator continue to favor you, brother. Shout out to my brother T Brew, my STL homeboy in the building. What's the word, T Brew? Yeah, hey man, you see we pissing off the right people, bro. They all mad, boy. Especially our St. Louis brethren. But guess what? They'll be all right, though. Who else we got up in here? We got Mr. Sean LaFay looking ass, my sister. Much love, much respect. Y'all make sure y'all go over to her page, too, man. She put out some marvelous music. Let me put it up on the screen right here. God's Mind Goddess on YouTube. Oahspe inspired R&B, silver tone music, and media. Y'all go over there right now. Like, subscribe, share the R&B vibe. Y'all know me, I'm a hip hop head, so I'm always on that. But sis, the reason I ain't played your stuff since last time I played it is because I got a copyright strike. Something, whatever. I forgot which song it is I played over there, but yeah, they hit me with a copyright. I was like, you know what I mean? Because I be playing your stuff over here too, Miss LaFay, because you know ain't nothing but love for you, Miss LaFay. But y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my sister, man. She do her thing. Been doing her thing. Like, subscribe, share. Nazir Israel, fresh out of the hell holes of Straightway. Pastor Dow. Straight out of the hells of Straightway. Y'all make sure y'all pour y'all love on our brother, Nazir Israel, who done escaped the maniac Pastor Dow. Boy, I heard your boy video skipped across my feed last night. What's the older white guy that been with Dow from the beginning? Becker. Douglas Becker or something like that. I heard he done jump ship. It ain't gonna take long, man. Everybody eventually gonna turn their back. That Dial is a maniac. He's a maniac. You dig? All right, who else we got up in here? Sister Belinda Brown is in the building. Much love, sis. Much love. May the Creator continue to favor thou. My brother Just Me, Buzz Lightyear, the brother with all the archives. Much love, much love. You say y'all put some meditations for my mom. She got some news today that lowered her spirit a bit. Absolutely, man. May the Almighty Creator send forth speedy healing, understanding, and comfort in the name of in the name of the Almighty Creator, brother. Much love. Yeah, Brian JJ's fish and chicken, man. Destroying. Let me see. We outside, man. Yeah, Selah got a book on the timetables of prophecy. Jim Denon. That's another one. All right, so yeah. We all that's what you say. Boy, that boy passed the dial, boy. Hey, I'm telling you. Boy, if you was blind, you'd have swore he was a boy down south country bumpkin white man. I try to tell you. Pastor Dial. Cat is a maniac. But yeah, let's get into some of this, y'all. Much love, much honor, much respect. Let's get into some of this, man. You know, we got all the mental midgets running around claiming that this book is witchcraft, and the compiler of Oahspe was a slave master, a slave owner. There's a racist book. What else? These mealy mouth midgets. Oahspe put LSD up babies' booties. I done heard all the madness from so many people with so many excuses on why not to dive into this. All right, so we're going to get into it. We're going to do a short little recap from yesterday for those who wasn't here. Right? And then we're going to get into it. So you can get some understanding yourself. You dig? And not have to really trip off the naysayers. Just go and read. That's all you got to do. Go and read. And if you got any questions, tap in with the gang. Like, man, look, we the ones that's out here pushing this. We not like the cheerleaders or the Girl Scouts of Israel on the sideline trying to find something to keep you out of it. Meanwhile, we can go all in Bible and show you your God is a demon. Straight demon, demonic. A low vibratorial individual that's jealous. Huh? We can go right into it and show. So for y'all that may be kind of, new or looking like, what is Oahspe, man? I be hearing people talking. And for people that's trying to be objective and real about the thing, you know what I mean? Instead of, just taking somebody's word for it or taking a naysayer's word for it and arriving at, their conclusions, look at it and arrive at your own conclusion. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with thinking for yourself? Nothing wrong with that. That's what we promote over here. Think for yourself. All right. So we about to go into what's called Oahspe. And we're going to clear up some rumors too today, like we did yesterday. For y'all that don't know, the things that, people say about this book, we've been debunked them. We've been when got the newspaper articles, the court records. We the ones that really read this. These people don't read it. This deal is bigger than a textbook. So this ain't nothing that you finna read overnight and get some understanding. You know what I mean? You got to really devote some time to say, you know what? Let me get up in this deal and read and see what's going on. And that don't mean you're not going to have questions. You have a gang of questions. You're going to have a gang of questions. What you're going to realize is Oahspe got more answers. And then you got questions. You're going to be reading and be like, oh, okay, so that's what that means when they say over there in Bible, this, that, and that. Okay. Oahspe's a decoder. It's a decoder. See what it is? You got people who are in denial. You understand that they have been up under the unction of a false god this whole time. They have. And they've been under the assumption that they've been dealing with the Almighty, the Creator, the maker of suns, moons, and stars. You haven't. You've been dealing with a deity in the form and figure of a man. Huh? And when he off his meds, you better watch out. His meds is blood. When he off his meds, you better get the hell moving. Huh? I'm just keeping it real with you. So we about to go into this. We gonna read, you dig? Because one thing, the mental midgets on the other side, they not gonna read this for you. They gonna play on your racial biases. They gonna play with you. You feel me? And how you thinking like, oh damn, okay, well shit, this is a racist book. This is no, not at all. This actually talks about the forces that were behind you being redeemed or set free through the Emancipation Proclamation, dealing with Abraham Lincoln. We can talk about some of that today. Right? That was that was the Creator and his angelic ambassadors that made Lincoln change his mind. This deal talk about the liberation of you. What are you talking about? You see, it's just people are scared that we've started to expose the false gods and deities hiding everywhere. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm false god tripping. I don't care nothing about what nobody got to say. Look at Buzz Lightyear say. He said, I almost stopped reading or watched because I saw on the table of content the Book of Thor, the Book of Osiris. Man, glad I kept reading. Exactly. You be thinking Thor from the Asgardian. Thor, the Marvel dude with the hammer. And it's like and that's why it's important to understand the timeline in a while. Once you get the timeline, you be like, oh, that ain't even the same. That's a total different time period. So the name is similar or the same, but it's not the same one. Similar is, for instance, your name may be Johnny, and you live in Maine. And for a living, you catch crabs and you dig and all types of sea fish out there in the sea. The other cat may be Johnny, but he's from Oklahoma. And he grew up grazing cattle and he was born in 1965. The other one was born in 2002. Are those Johnnies the same? No, the name is just the same. You see? So you hear Thor, you hear Osiris, you hear Apollo, and Negroes get the see. And boy, if you don't read before you arrive at a conclusion, read first. And y'all, look, y'all, it's just a name. And the nerve of the so-called Negro who makes his boast of the slave trade, all y'all running around here with names that ain't yours anyway. Huh? Ain't your name Brad Johnson? That's not an indigenous or an original name. That's somebody else's name. What the hell are you talking about? Stop being so simple. It's time to get understanding. Come up out of the nursery rhyme status for once in your life and just read for yourself and arrive at a conclusion for thyself. You dig? It's really that simple. It's really that simple, y'all. You know what I mean? It's not hard to understand. It's just, the enemies are so afraid, right? That they've been up under the unction and the clutch and been in agreement with a false God this whole time. And here you come unapologetically just saying, hey, look, that's the devil you over there worshiping. Ain't no other way to tell you. I can't tell you, oh, wakey, eggs and bakey. You're not going to wake up like that. I got to punch you in your mouth so you understand. Like, dang, bro, you hit me like that, folks. So you can understand you tripping. Like, look, check this out. That's the only way. You dig? So let's get into some of this. Shout out to my brother, the Minister of Wellness in the building. Y'all go like, subscribe, share, support. Much love to my brother and his missionary initiatives. Well, let's clear up some of these rumors today. Shalom to my sister, Rain Shay Jones in the building. Good to see you, sis. Been a minute, a little taste. Good to see thou. Shout out to Mocha 2111 in the building. Yeah, y'all pile on in. Let the naysayers know we outside. Creator gang banging, false God tripping. Let's read some of this. Oahspe, a practical guidebook to the spiritual life. In standard edition in modern American language. Put it on the screen so you can see it. Look at this right here. You have a corporeal body and a spiritual body. Hear me and I will open your understanding. I come to free not only the corporeal man, but the spiritual man. You see that? So this is about liberty all across the board. Not just liberty from physical bondage, but also from spiritual bondage by the mechanism put in place of these false gods or by these false gods named religion. Religion is a tool used by the false gods to bind your spirit, to make you a slave, spiritually speaking. And that's why most of these people are acting out the way they act when the gang swing through. Yet with your freedom, you also attain to responsibility. So you're not a slave, you're free, right? You have liberty. But with freedom, you're responsible for all that you are. You can't blame the devil for this. You can't blame God for this. You can't blame the white man or the Chinese man or the Arab. Nah. You got to put your big boy boots on and go head up with life. It's just what it is. Life ain't getting no more softer or easier for thou just because you angry. The storm ain't gonna, storm any less just because you yell at it. It don't work like that. Life is lifing. Regardless if you comfortable or not. Put your big boy boots on. Yet with your freedom, you also attain the responsibility. So that what? Sooner or later. Y'all see that? So it's a time thing. It's a time thing. So that sooner or later. Right here. your fidelity, your faithfulness to your creator and to your fellow man. In wickedness, hatred, and evil works. Is that what that say? No, genius. It says in righteousness, love, and good works shall become the most sacred study of your life. Your fidelity, your faithfulness to your maker, your creator, and to your fellow man, brothers and sisters. In righteousness, love, and good works is the most sacred study of your life. I ain't heard nothing evil yet for all you mumble mouth midgets. Everybody got something to say, but won't even crack this deal open and read it and be honest with yourself. Your God does not come in this era as a dictator. Your God does not come in this era as a dictator. Thus saith the Lord. But as your elder brother with ample experience. God is a brother of yours. You've been praying to God this whole time. God is a brother. God answers to someone. God answers to the creator. My father and your father. Yeah. You go, dear Father. God is a brother. God is a title and rank of an angel. You ain't figured that out by now? Our Bible ain't told you that, huh? But that's because you've been up under the unction of a false God. A true God has been let you know what time it is. You over there praying to God in your prayer breath. God is a brother of yours, an ancestor. Someone who lived on this world or some other physical world, who passed through death and rose to the rank of a god. Or if you a female, to the rank of a goddess. Never to be worshiped, never to be prayed to. A resurrection worker, simply there to inspire you mortals and any angels under them to rise up so you can be where they at, so they can continue to move forward. And when you get where they at, you're going to be doing the same thing. Resurrection is eternal, brothers and sisters. It's an eternal process. Onward and upward forever. Instead of being stuck in the grave until you hear Gabriel blow his trumpet and you come out like a zombie. Or being stuck in a cube, a box on earth called the New Jerusalem. Nah, trick no good. We onward and outward. We upward and outward. We out this deal. There are countless worlds of the creator. The creator never stopped creating. God is your brother, not your all parent, not your father. God is a brother. It's a title and rank of an angel. God is an ancestor. So your God does not come in this era as a dictator, but as your elder brother with plenty of experience. Catch this game I'm throwing at you, though, little bro. That's all God is to you. That's all Goddess is to you. It's an older brother or sister that has your best interest in mind. That's been where you been. And that's at where you trying to go to. Yeah. Now, a false god or a false goddess is someone you praying to and worshiping and giving out offerings to. And this madness. Nah. A true god or a true goddess is simply an ancestor, a title and rank of an angel, and their job description is a resurrection worker, which is yours. Your job is to raise up those who are beneath you, spiritually speaking, as well. If I'm making sense, y'all drop a 12,000 in the chat, man. This is easy to understand. It's just the mumble mouth misfits don't want to understand. And you know why? Because they can't understand it. But as your elder brother with ample experience, nor do I command saying you shall believe because I, your God, have said it or revealed it in this book. You don't just believe something just because it's written somewhere. You got to test its virtue to make sure it's solid. The elders used to say every tub got to sit on its own bottom. Yeah, so you got to test it to make sure the virtue hold up. If it don't, hey, look, it's worthless. It's that simple. Nevertheless, through Oahspe or sky, earth, spirit. Light of Jehovah, the creator, is revealed to man. And man is to judge himself and labor, work to save himself, so that by this he may what? Have honor and glory. Look at that. Judge yourself daily, meaning critique yourself. You get to the end of your day, sit back and trip off. Okay, you know what? I could have said that better. I could have dealt with my children, a little softer on this one. I could have responded to my spouse a little, girl, come here. Dang, I'm tripping. You know what I mean? Like, I could have hollered at my coworker a little bit. You critique yourself. You're judging yourself. I could have really helped that brother or sister out right there. They in a jam, and I'm in a position to do so. Like, you just critique yourself. You reflect over your day, judge yourself, and then labor or work to save yourself. How do you do that? By simply getting outside and doing righteous works to one another, whether they be somebody you know or somebody that's a stranger. Get your grades up. Get your spiritual grade up by simply doing righteousness and good works unto others. All right? For the will of the Creator is not for man to be forever led. Yeah, you got the training wheels got to come off. Eventually, right? Eventually, you don't got to be told to look left, look right, look left again. Everything clear, short, like okay, let's cross the street. Eventually, you understand. You mature. You progress. You're an adult. You don't need nobody to teach you how to wipe your rear end and brush your stinking mouth in the morning. You already know what you need to be doing. Why? Because you progressed. You matured. So the will of your Creator, the will of the Most High, the Almighty, is not for you to be in sippy cup mode your whole life. Here you go, got grown men, been in the scriptures 40 years, still claiming to be on baby status. Oh, I'm just a babe. Oh, I'm just a babe. Well, sit your baby ass down somewhere then. You do not need to be outside on these front lines teaching nothing. The boy's a baby. The will of the Creator is not for you to be in sippy cup mode your whole life. Progress, Johnny. But for man to ultimately have the light of practicing good works organically. From infancy up, from a short legger and a short runner on up. That's the will of the Creator. Oahspe is a primary. Why? Because it's the first source of the information that's contained in it. Ain't none of y'all ever had nothing like this. There ain't nothing else in existence. If it was before, or it has been before, but libraries have been burnt down and information has been put out of existence and put far out of the minds and reach of the common man, woman, and child. So then something else has to happen, spiritually speaking, for this information to get reintroduced back in the earth. Currently in this earth right now, the information in Oahspe is the primary source, meaning the first source of it. It's a primary. What is it for, Malachi? For the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development, growth and development, right? Shout out to the growth and development GD. For the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, and humanity. What do you mean this is a racist book? The hell is wrong with folk? For the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, and humanity, for their glory and happiness, and for the glory of the whole. What you mean this is a racist book? This said this for everybody. That's what this just said. This is for everybody. No, you just mad because it's not exclusive. Is it just for the black man? No, it's not. It's not just for the black man, or just for the white man, or just for the Arab or the Chinese, or the Bantu in the Congo. No. It's for all. It's for the glory of the whole. You can't speak against that. You can't even speak against that. What you gonna get mad about? Ooh, brother, can we just have our own? In the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors, being a Cosmon Bible. I mean, it's a present era Bible for sure. What does it contain, Malachi? A history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on the earth for the past 25,000 years. What's wrong? You done heard some evil? Was some evil about that? According to the Hebrew calendar, Bible don't go back 6,000 years. This goes back 5 times more than where Bible started, and even further. But look, it ain't even the year 50, but I think the year finna change on the Hebrew calendar, 5788 or something like that? It ain't been 6,000 years according to the biblical calendar that man has been created on this earth. Y'all, there are petroglyphs older than that. Come on, man. It's time to elevate. Okay? For the past 25,000 years. You ain't never heard nothing like this. If Bible don't go back 6,000 years, you know for sure the Quran don't. There would be no Quran if it wasn't for Bible. Huh? Oh, forget about it. When the last time y'all checked the Egyptian calendar? That ain't 6,000 years. Or if it is, it barely hit 6,000. So Oahspe is already trumping. Oahspe is already trumping Bible and what y'all thought was the oldest culture in the world, Kemet or Egypt. The Egyptian calendar started like 1,000 years before the Hebrew calendar. I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, this is Oahspe is trumping that right off the back. And that's just 25,000 years. Being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, you think that's a game. What do you mean, Malaki? I always got to show and prove. So many naysayers out there. Knows what it says. It says from being the 25,000 years, meaning the Great Flood happened 25,000 years ago, not 2,500 or 2,400 years ago, according to the biblical timeline. 25,000 years ago. And it says being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean. Ain't that what it said? Ain't that what it said? Okay, let's go show. You know, I don't got no time to play. We got no time to play with you. Let's go show an overhead view of the Pacific Ocean. Like we playing with somebody around here. It's called the Ring of Fire. Look at this right here. Y'all, the Pacific floor, the floor of the Pacific Ocean is the top of a sunken continent. Or what's we call it Waga or Pan. When this continent was sunk, that's when the Great Flood happened. This area is so massive you can fit 5 Africas into it. That right there is objective proof. And look, it's high volcanic activity and earthquakes that go on to this day around this whole rim right here. Y'all, because this was a continent at one time called Pan. You heard people talk about Atlantis and Lemuria. No, hogwash. It's Pan, or what Oahspe call Waga. Japan is named after it. The little corner that was left right there is a corner that was left. They named it Japan. Okay, this is what happened when that continent was sunk and the Great Flood happened then. And y'all wasn't just 8 people that survived. Thousands of people survived. And it wasn't just one ship, it was a gang of ships. But again, you got to get into Oahspe to understand it. Okay? This is child's play for us. All right, let's get back to it. People act like they, well, what do you mean? And look, just be quiet, sit down and get some understanding. All right. So for the past 25,000 years, being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, commonly called the flood or deluge, to the Cosmine era of the present time. So y'all, it's been 25,000 years since the Great Flood happened. Yes. Yeah, that whole Moses or Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat in Turkey is madness. Do y'all know they found wood that supposedly be part of this boat that was Noah's Ark or whatever? Do y'all know that wood come from Long Beach, California? Yeah, they've been lying to you. That little thing that they say is on Mount Ararat in Turkey, y'all, is a lie. It's a hoax. Okay. Also, a brief history of the preceding years from man's beginning on earth to the flood. So it'll go back further than 25,000 years. You see that? Together with a synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe. All this is in Oahspe. Cosmogony of the universe. What is cosmogony? The branch of science that deals with the origin of the universe, in particular our solar system. Not cosmology. Cosmogony. Huh? We really got the only cosmogony out here. Other than that, what you got? Genesis 1 and 1? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. So all this is in Oahspe. Okay? A synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe, the creation of planets with an S, the creation of man, the unseen worlds, the labor and glory of gods and goddesses in the heavens of the earth, and in the ethereal heavens above them. Stop right there. The deepest book you got in biblical literature is the book of Enoch, and the book of Enoch don't even talk about ethereal. The Torah don't talk about ethereal. The New Testament don't talk about ethereal. The Quran for sure don't talk about ethereal. The Kemetic literature don't talk about ethereal. Ethereal, what you know today is outer space made out of ether. And there are worlds, countless ethereal worlds. All this is revealed in Oahspe. And you got these mealy mouth misfortunates running around here calling this a racist book. Yeah, boy. Put that Oahspe down. It's going to burn your hand off. With the new commandments of Jehovah to man of the present day and other revelations from the second resurrection, formed in the words in the 33rd year of the Cosmon era. So 1881, Cosmon era started in 1848. 33 years later is 1881 when this was being written. Available for public scrutiny in 1882. Y'all, that's what the big fuss is about. This right here. All right. Now look, we're gonna go into because everybody want to talk about John Newbro. John Bilal Newbro. And look, y'all, if y'all want to know any of this, all you got to do is go to the website. Oahspe Standard Edition. Let me put it in the chat for everybody. This is not hard to understand. You say, boy, Peter Pan, Neverland. That's right. All you got to do is just go to the website, man. It goes right into how Oahspe was transmitted, who John Newbro was. You dig? And we're going to go into more of this rumor doc that we put together 4 years ago. Shout out to my brother Cosmon Kyle, the cloud kicker, the problem, the anomaly that can't be solved. My brother. He put this together 4 years ago when we been debunked all this stuff everybody try to come against us with. All types of crazy, man. We went and got newspaper articles, court records. This is a 95-page doc that we about to go over. Yesterday, I made it to page 22, so we're going to pick back up and read back down. But we about to go back over today again, just in case it's some of y'all first time in here, who John Newbro was. Okay? And he's a man that didn't even take credit for this. Because he admitted, look, this deal came through it was mechanically written through my hands by some other intelligence than my own. Meaning this wasn't the figment of his imagination. Like how you produce something like this but don't take credit for it? Notice what it said. It said in the words of Jehovah. It didn't say in the words of John Newbro. In the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. We about to go and show and prove. Let's go in to see who John Newbro was. Okay? You got people just mad because, he was a dentist. Oh, he looked like a white man. And it's like, look, shut the hell up. Oh, y'all, when you went to school, your principals was white. Like, stop it. You grew up your whole time in school, you learned out of textbooks. And I bet Nam, Bantu, Negro from the Congo produced your textbooks. Stop it. Since when do we get away from what the information is saying and gauge it based off that? We don't give a hell what a thing look like. We're supposed to be comparing the information against other information to see what a higher light at, what hit harder. That's what we supposed to be doing. You've heard your whole life, don't judge a book by its cover, but you get to this and you get a stiff back, and all of a sudden, all y'all investigate now. All y'all inquisitive now. You wasn't that inquisitive in school. You done went to school and learned out of textbooks. You don't know if the producers of your textbooks like laying with greased up midgets. You don't know nothing about the people that produce your textbooks. Hell, your textbooks ain't even real books. Why do you say that, Malachi? Because you can't go to the public library and get them. You can go to the school library and get them if you go to college somewhere. But there ain't, your 5th grade chemistry book ain't in no library nowhere. So you ain't even been learning out of real books your whole life. You just get the information that's up in there and take your test and move on to the next grade. Huh? But since y'all so concerned about who this man was, well, let's go read about it. And we never bring this man up unless y'all bring him up. Y'all, John knew, bro, he was a witch. His family owned slaves. A white man. Man, look, but as soon as you got shot, you took your black ass to that doctor, didn't you? Huh? White man wasn't the devil then when he was pulling that 4-5 out of your leg or out of your arm. Yeah, all right. Stop playing. A thing is supposed to be judged based off its character and what it produces. John Bilal Newbro, vehicle for Oahspe. JBN, that's what we call him. JBN, all right. JBN led a varied and interesting life that ultimately prepared him for the task of a lifetime, transmitting and publishing the Oahspe. A natural clairvoyant. Okay, so what you got a problem with that? You got a problem because he was born with a spiritual gift. Some of y'all have premonitions, deja vu. Some of you got women's in your families and men in your families that are called certain things down to the letter, down to what somebody was wearing the day you got in trouble. Certain people are just more sensitive to the spirit world than you are. He was born with that. He's a natural clairvoyant, meaning he could hear, speak, and see into the spirit world. Okay. What is that, too spooky for you? Huh? A natural clairvoyant with automatic writing ability, Newbro became the amanuensis, or the vehicle through whom the Oahspe was transmitted. John Bilal Newbro, you heard us say JBN, just to keep it short. All right. John Bilal Newbro, 1828 through 1891. Went over some of this yesterday. We're going to go over it again. And then we're going to get more into the rumor doc that we got. Shout out to my sister Keon Cooper, sister Tabitha out of the Caribbean. Bless up. John Newbro was 52 years old when through his automatic writing, Oahspe was transmitted into mortal language. This event was the significant, life-changing, life-defining event for not only him, but many more people who would read Oahspe. Born on June 5th, 1828 in the log cabin in Mohican Township, Ohio, John was one of 7 children whose ancestry included Scottish, Swiss, and English. Okay. What's wrong with that? Like you got a choice on who your parents are. Like you got a choice on who your ancestors are. Okay. Like many pioneers, John's family raised their own food. And his father was also the local slave master. Is that what that says? No, genius. It says schoolmaster. Y'all running around here talking about this man, family owned slaves and he owns slaves. Him daddy was a principal at a school. A schoolmaster. Man, look, man. His father was also the local schoolmaster. John also taught school during the winter of his last year at home. When John was a young boy, his spiritualist mother taught him about the communion of angels. And John first communed with angels in the peaceful outdoors of his family home under the great oaks and sycamores. Oh, you got a problem with his mama being a spiritualist and teaching her son how to develop his natural talents he was born with, his spiritual talents he was born with. His mama taught him how to commune with angels or spirits. Hell, you mad about your mama or grandmama go to church and catch the Holy Ghost and foam at the mouth, and fall out over folk and run laps around the sanctuary, losing her wig off her head and speaking tongues. His mama just simply taught him how to develop his spiritual gifts that he was born with and taught him how to communicate with the unseen. What's evil about that? Here y'all go talking about witchcraft, witches. And see, religion done taught y'all how to be ashamed of your spiritual gifts. You deny the dreams that you have. You deny the premonitions. You deny the deja vu. You see? I mean, look, since a young man, I've been having deja vu. Since I can remember. Dreams be coming right to pass. Like, whoa. Whoa. I learned in later years, if I dream something, I ain't want to see it or have it come to pass. I just, like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the vision. You did. Like, I have some type of control over that. So I notice it don't pop when I do that. If I just let it go, oh yeah, it's happening. It'll happen quick too. Dang, I've seen this before. Boy, I just dreamed this. But yeah, religion teaches you to be ashamed of your spiritual gifts. You don't got to be ashamed of what the Creator birthed you with, brothers and sisters. It's just what it is. Right? And it's not witchcraft. Now look at this. John's father disapproved of spirit communion, but eventually became a spiritualist when, after his wife's passing, he received messages from her. Here y'all go, just all up in arms. Oh, but you got stories of Rachel weeping for her children in Bible. Don't you got stories of men, great men in the Bible who are interpreter of dreams? Men like Daniel, men like Joseph. What's the problem? What's the problem? Look at this. When he was 16, Newbro attended high school in Cleveland, Ohio, boarding with the family of a dentist and working as his assistant. Learning the practice of dentistry, which he continued until he graduated medical college as a physician at 21. He then worked for a short time under the supervision of his uncle, who was the head physician in an insane asylum. What's wrong with that? I'm still waiting for the family that owned slaves. I'm still waiting for the witchcraft and the blood drinking. And how the hell is teaching your child to develop their spiritual gifts witchcraft? But eat my flesh and drink my blood is not witchcraft. Offering up burnt offerings, chopping off heads, cutting out organs, chopping the fat off organs. That ain't witchcraft. Playing with blood, that ain't witchcraft. Playing with dung, that ain't witchcraft. There's no comparison. What are we talking about here? Yeah. Yes. The Viker's world. Our spirituality has been hijacked and made. Absolutely. Everything's superstitious now. And here you go denying the spiritual gifts that you were born with. No, you're supposed to develop them. You dig? Our grandmothers were highly in touch with the spirit world. Highly. My grandmama was cold with it. I can't even front. I straight called some stuff down to the letter. I used to be scratching my head like, how did she even know that, man? Like, how did she know that? How did she know what the person was going to be wearing? And at what time of the day it was going to happen? How could she possibly know this? I know a sister that's living today that's very in touch with the spirit world. Look, I call something down to the letter. And how you like, hold on, what? I stopped questioning it now. I don't even ask how you know that. It don't even surprise me anymore. I just take heed. Oh, okay. Okay. And every time it come to pass, I just be like, oh, hey, I don't kick against it. You know what I mean? There's your proof. You see? Yeah. Newbro's adventurous spirit took him to the California gold fields in 1849 where he found gold. Okay, so he struck gold. He struck gold. Like winning the lottery. What you mad about? The Israelite the other day talking to my brother was talking, oh, yeah, he was rich. Yeah, it's like he hit the lottery twice. 1849, he found gold. And what did he do? Did he keep it to himself? Did he form a large corporation? No. He shared part of his good fortune with his family back in Ohio, where his parents and younger siblings still live. He also cared for the sick and fevered. Look. With the fortune, with the good fortune that he found, he took care of the less fortunate. He put his family on back at home. He ain't a person that got that struck gold or hit the lottery and just hoarded everything to himself. So he wasn't what you call a stingy man. Even with his wealth, gave his wealth away. During his time in the gold fields, John witnessed and deplored the injustice of what? Bigotry. Who all know what bigotry is? Racism. 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 There you go talking about this man was a racist. Okay. Okay. During his time in the gold fields, John witnessed and deplored the injustice, the bigotry, especially toward the Chinese and the general grab for personal fortune. Here he teamed up with Scottish-born John Turnbull, with whom he traveled to the Australian gold fields of Ballarat, Victoria around 1851. After a couple of more years of living in a tent and adding considerably to his gold fortune, so he hit gold again. JBN hit gold twice, man. He hit the lottery twice in his life. That's what's up. I mean, what you mad about? Are you mad because you still working for $10 an hour somewhere? You mad that this man hit the Powerball or the jackpot or won the lottery twice in his life? I mean, hey, salute. But what did he do with his fortune? What did he do? After a couple of more years of living in a tent and adding considerably to his gold fortune, he sailed to Europe, China, India, Africa, and many far places before returning to the U.S. Newbro began a practice as a physician in Cincinnati, but soon switched to dentistry, which he practiced successfully for many years. His concern for the needs of the suffering poor led Newbro to develop an inexpensive, a cheap alternative rubber composition that made dentures more accessible to the poor. So you see what he's doing with his money? You see what he's doing in his practice? He's making sure the less fortunate or the poor who can't afford those expensive chops, he's making sure the poor look good by the mouth. This don't sound like no racist man to me. This don't sound like no rich John D. Rockefeller man to me. He's giving his fortune away. And he's looking for a way to help the poor feel better. By fixing their smiles, fixing their chops. The profit-driven Dunlop Rubber Company attempted court action to suppress the cheaper product, but failed. See, they ended up trying to sue him in court to stop him from helping the poor fix their chops. Newbro also published a number of his own writings, Also, he was a published author as well. His pre-Oahspe publications included several social commentary novels and poetry. In 1860, Newbro married Rachel Turnbull in her native Scotland. The Newbro settled at 128 West 24th Street in New York, where he also practiced dentistry until 1884. They had 3 children, but one died in infancy. What's so wrong about what we reading thus far? What's the problem? What are you so mad about? I mean, just so bent out of shape about Oahspe, and when you realize you really ain't got nothing on that, you turn toward the one who it came through. So we reading about him today. We're clearing up rumors today. Newbro's ability to see and hear spirits and automatic writing talent, his interests and investigations into spiritualism and mediumship, his various philanthropic activities and social and civic reform activism, as well as generous donations to the needy, became contentious issues in his marriage. You see, his way of life ended up causing issues in his marriage. It did, because he was the type to investigate spiritualism and all that. He investigated it. Like, man, let me go look and all this. So remember, he was a natural clairvoyant from birth. His mother taught him to develop his spiritual talents that he was birthed with. And he wasn't using it for no evil purposes. You dig? But he's like, man, let me go see what's going on for myself. Let's go investigate. Right? But notice, he was all about civic and social reform. He was an activist. He was into philanthropy. He always gave his money away to the less fortunate. Generous donations. But it became an issue in his marriage. You see this? Look at this. By the time he adopted a vegan diet around 1870, he and his wife were living separate lives under the one roof until 1884, when Newbro departed, leaving the residence and his thriving dental practice to his separated wife. So left her with the business. The business was popping. You dig? But just like any man or, any marriage, you dig? You got issues. You got problems. Certain relationships don't last forever. Trust me, I know. You dig? But okay. So you're offended because he got a divorce in his life and ended up getting remarried. And when I say you're offended, I'm talking about to these Israelites who get so offended. And I just be shaking my head like, how are you musty Negroes offended at this? You read a Bible where Solomon had 700 wives and 300 hoes. You still read Proverbs? Oh, brother, this is so much wisdom. Oh, forget about Solomon's daddy, David. He had about 17 wives. Had his best friend murdered for one of them. Took her and put 4 babies up in her. He was a murderer and adulterer. Put 4 babies up in the woman he took from his best friend. A brother that had his back. You still read the Psalms and be like, oh, the man after the Lord's own heart. You read about John Newbro. You dig? His first marriage didn't work out. And here you go, he got a divorce. If you don't go sit down somewhere, if you just stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Just say, you're offended. Just say you just don't want to read Oahspe. But that's no excuse not to read it because the man's first marriage didn't work out. The hell does that mean? How in the hell are you offended at a man whose first marriage didn't work out? And you as an Israelite today in modern times on your 20th marriage. Failures at polygyny. Failures. How are you even offended at this? Look, he got divorced and still left his wife with a thriving business. And that's all you. Newbro was divorced in 1886 and married Frances Van De Water, who was the mother of his youngest child, Justine. Okay. Newbro's life chain. Okay, now this is the only, and this is something Cal brought up to me, which blew my mind. I ain't really trip off this. Y'all, that's not a photograph. That's not a photograph of John Newbro. This is the only picture that the public has of this man. But it's not a photograph. And cameras were invented then. They got pictures of Abraham Lincoln and all that. Y'all, that's a drawing. That's not even a photograph. You mean, look, this man was a rock star. He had several inventions. He had patents of several inventions. He was a published author. That man was a thriving dentist. He struck gold twice in his life. This man was very well known. And you mean to tell me y'all don't even got a photograph of this man? That's highly suspect. It reminds you of what they did with the image of Jesus. That's highly, highly suspect, if you ask me. Cosmo Carroll brought it to my attention one day. I said, what you mean they don't got no photograph of him? Yes, they do. No, they don't. That's a drawing. That's not, look, and y'all trip off this. That's the only picture that you will find of this man anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. How, when this man was famous, man, this man was damn near more famous than the president. I'm just going to leave that there. You did. Not that I'm tripping off what a thing looked like anyway, but that's highly suspect. That's highly suspect that this man was a world-renowned spiritualist, basically. And don't forget, Oahspe came through his hands as well. The man was an inventor. He holds several patents to several inventions. A published author, a thriving dentist, traveled the world times over, struck gold twice. Had the ability to hear, speak, and see into the spirit world, and he's the vehicle by which Oahspe came through. And all y'all got is a drawing of this man? Look up any image of John Newbro, you're going to get that right there. Yeah. That's highly, highly suspect. That's highly suspect, you know what I mean? If you ask me. Powers that be know what's really going on around here, man. You dig? Yeah, hey, C-Live, but shout out to Black Royal Family Entertainment, man. Hey, Bruce not reading no Oahspe because JBN got a divorce. Meanwhile, these ragtag Brews on their 20th divorce. I'm telling you, don't get me started. You know I know. So let's look into this. Like my brother, the undergrads 808 saying, y'all go like, subscribe, share. That's that Creator Gang music right there. He say, sounds like somebody trying to screw up history. Yes. But not that we care anything what a thing look like anyway. We gonna trip off the message. It don't matter if he had an afro, a perfectly gray round afro. The whites of his eyes was bloodshot red. His skin was highly concentrated with carbon or melanin. And he had the voice of many waters. We still gonna go look at the message. What a thing look like don't determine if the message gonna be righteous, but that's highly suspect, man. That's highly, highly suspect. This man was he was world renowned in his day. Like they knew who this dude was. You know what I mean? Let's get back into it. Yeah, I remember Carol brought that to my attention. I said, boy, you ain't lying. That ain't no photograph. That's a drawing. And the only picture online of him. Shout out to Cosmo and Carol TV. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Yeah, it might be iconoclasm. They may have whitewashed JBN too. I mean, look, you can't put it past the powers that be. Look at this. Newbro became vegan following a momentous angelic visitation where he was asked if he would do a work for the creator, to which he agreed. See, because remember, he been communing with angels, y'all, since he was a short lecture. Him mama taught him how to develop that gift. He was a clairvoyant. So he became vegan or plant-based based off something spiritual. Based off an encounter he had with some angels. Like, oh, okay, what you mean? Yeah, I'll do something for the credit. What you saying? Nigga, let's cook. Now look with the, and now trip off this. If you want to tap, if you jealous of what he done did and you want to tap in, all you got to do is follow the blueprint. Look what he had to do. The angels advised him that to prepare for such a work would take 10 years. You willing to sacrifice 10 years? You willing to subjugate and suppress your flesh and your carnal nature for 10 years? A whole decade? The angel advised him that to prepare for such a work would take 10 years, during which time he was to adopt a vegan diet. That means no flesh chewing, no animal products, none of it. That means no dairy, no flesh, none of it. Now, why would the high-raised angels have you stop chewing on flesh and consuming dairy so you could be an available vessel to transmit some of this high light? Why? Why couldn't he kept eating on cheeseburgers and French fries? Going to the big steakhouse and ordering a T-bone? Why? Y'all, in order to transmit certain light codes and frequencies of that high of a nature, of that high of a vibration, you can't be clogged up with dead animal flesh in your gut, maggots all in your gut, mucus all in your body. No, you got to clean out. You wouldn't even be able to handle all that light. You see? Well, shout out to y'all who have taken that step or that leap, you know what I mean? And decided to let go of all that. For myself, it's been a little bit over 5 years. I stopped cold turkey. I said, look, the hell with all that. I'm good. And that's before I even read Oahspe. I'm good, man. I'm going to stop eating all this. But look what the angels told him to do. The angels advised him that to prepare for such a work would take 10 years, during which time he was to adopt a vegan diet, practice clean habits, including daily bathing, just like the Essenes. That's exactly what the Essenes used to do. So stop chewing. It's going to take about a decade. You want to tap in? It's going to take about a decade. You got to stop chewing on animal flesh and consuming dairy. Then there are some clean hygiene, some habits that you got to take. You got to wash that stinking rear end daily. And then what else? Introspection for self-improvement. Meaning you got to judge yourself. You got to really critique your speech and your actions every day. And you got to provide service to others regardless if you make a profit. You willing to do that? You willing to go hard for 10 years? Let go of the animal products. Let go of that flesh chewing. You ready to take a bath every day? You ready to keep it real with yourself and, do some self-reflection and self-improvement? And are you willing to do service unto others, regardless if you make a pretty penny off of it or not? You willing to do that? They giving you the blueprint right here. During that period, Nubro published Spiritualis, or Spirits Interviewed, in 1874, which is a great read, I might add. I got Spiritualis. It's a marvelous read. I can't front. They're talking about marriage and all type of stuff. But yeah, from a spiritual aspect, that deal hard. I can't even front. I say, dang, okay. So before Oahspe even came through, JBN was already a published author. If y'all don't got Spiritualis, you can get the PDF. Let's look it up. It's a great read. It's short too. What you say? I hope people already take baths every day. Hey, you be surprised, brother. You be surprised who don't wash they stinking rear end or they stinking mouth in the morning. Look at this. By 1876, Nubro's health and spiritual condition had improved so much that his mediumship blossomed to the extent that Angels no longer held his hand for automatic writing, but over his head, while a light from above fell on his hands. So he improved spiritually once he decided to take on that whole regimen. The whole vegan lifestyle. Wash that stinking rear end every day. Do some self-improvement and self-inspection. You see that? And become a servant. Do righteous service for others, regardless if you profit off of it or not. You're becoming selfless. You see, because that's how the angels move in the heavens anyway. It's selfless. They ain't making no money. They're not making no big head Ben Franklins by inspiring you to be righteous. See? You get stronger spiritually by the more you give away. See, in the flesh, you become stronger by the more you keep and save and stack. And spiritually speaking, you become stronger in faith by the more you give away. By the good you do to others. See that? See that? It's the opposite. He could now see the angels' materialized hands and hear them speaking in his presence. Instructed by spirit to buy a typewriter, Newbro acquired the first Scholes and Glidden typewriter in 1878. So y'all, he 8 years in. He's actually 8 years in by the time he even get a typewriter. He 8 years in this whole lifestyle, daily bathing, which is a marvelous thing. Not eating flesh. Self-improvement. Right? And doing service to others regardless if it's a profit to him. He 8 years in, and then the angels that he talking to hollering at every day like, hey, go get a typewriter. Y'all, the typewriter had just been invented. He began to practice but developed very little typing competency. So he couldn't even type. He couldn't even type, y'all. And if you don't like what Oahspe is saying, you produce something better then. But you see what you got to do. You ready to sacrifice 10 years? Change that diet? Yeah. Bathe every day? Sometimes twice a day? Yeah. Do some self-improvement. Do some self-reflection. And become a servant to others. Regardless if you make a profit or not. Man, how much you make for doing that? I ain't make nothing. Man, you tripping. Look at this. During the following 2 years, the angels had Newbro research various scientific subjects such as astronomy and write down the accepted logic of the scholars in those particular fields. The angels questioned Newbro on these topics systematically as he completed each subject. They informed him that there was little or no accurate information in all the subjects covered. You see this? So that means the scientific findings of the day were wrong. The angels told him, yeah, go ahead and study these subjects like astronomy and all that. Write down the accepted logic of the scholars, what the scholars are saying the truth is. And then the angels questioned Newbro on these topics. As he completed them, he was questioned by the angels. And guess what they informed him? Your modern day science theories are wrong. In all the subjects covered. Afterwards, they told him that the purpose of this exercise was to clear his mind of human fallacies, so that the subject matter of the work he was to undertake would not be influenced by his own thoughts. It is also likely that during these 2 years, there were practice sessions on the typewriter with the angels taking control so as to develop a clear, steady connection in preparation for the transmission of Oahspe. One early morning before sunrise in the spring of 1880, Newbro was sitting at his desk and the light struck both his hands like that. And they went for the typewriter and typed very vigorously, 15 minutes. The angels told him not to read what was written. Hold on, man. He didn't even get to proofread what he was typing. This pattern continued every day before sunrise in 15 to 30-minute sessions for 50 weeks, almost a year. Newbro was instructed not to read any of the typed pages for the whole 50 weeks until the transmission was complete. Look at that. Look at that. See, this man couldn't type, right? And he only, sure about this, and he only was typing for 15 to 30 minutes every day for 50 weeks straight and was told not to read nothing until he was done typing. Meaning he didn't even read Oahspe until he was done with it. Till the angels was done with him. See, this ain't something of his own mind, of his own doing. Following an unpublished incomplete edition in 1881, the Lamp Proof Sheets, Oahspe was published by the Oahspe Publishing Association sometime in late September, early October 1882, more than a year after transmission, with 3,000 copies printed. Boy, that's cold. Man, they couldn't type at all. Type 15 minutes a day under the control and unction of the angel ambassadors of the Creator. Was told not to read it. 15 to 30 minutes a day for 50 weeks straight, then you can read. His mind had to be blown when he finally read that. When he was finally done, he started reading, his mind had to be blown. Whoa. I ain't read nothing evil yet, though. I ain't read nothing evil about what this man was on yet. You see? You got so many people out there throwing, all types of false charges and putting it on this man and on Oahspe. It's evil. It's satanic. Ooh, brother, that's off. He owns slaves. Huh? Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. You just making stuff up as you go. You see this? Look, if what I've read so far, if you've heard anything evil, and I say evil, blood drinking, head chopping, evil, you know what evil is. I ain't even got to explain to you what evil is. If you've heard anything evil that has been read thus far, type a 1 in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat. All right. Post Oahspe publication and Shalom. In November 1883, 63 people gathered at Pearl River, New York, formed the Oahspe Lodge of Faithists. Their goal was to promote the Shalom orphanage plan. See, so they looking out for the orphans. After that, Newbro wrote the government and bylaws of Faithist fraternities, which was somewhat modeled on Oahspe's Jehovah's Kingdom on earth. In that same year, Newbro and Francis Van De Water cared for a number of infants at the Pearl River Farm. There it is right there. I know that's a Shalom orphan home in Donna Ana, New Mexico, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Look at that. They were about gathering the orphans, man. What's evil about any of this? I haven't read anything evil. Things that happen that's supernatural that may be beyond your understanding. But what's the evil you've read or heard? Chiefing is key. You remember the movies, the others with Nicole Kidman, how that old lady would sit and write what the spirits told her? Yeah. I remember that movie. Look at this word. The Shalom Orphan Home in Donna Ana, New Mexico. By 1884, with the financial backing of an Oahspe reader, Andrew Holland, Newbro purchased 1,490 acres of land at Donna Ana on a bend of the Rio Grande near Las Cruces, New Mexico, where the Shalom colony was established. In October 1884, Newbro and a small party of about a dozen volunteer faithists with infant orphans took up residence at Shalom. The members and children were strict vegetarians, although honey was included in their diet. Now, look, y'all, I read all this yesterday. If y'all want to get more into it, go back to yesterday's video. I read the whole entire thing. I want to get into this right here. Lies, rumors, and misconceptions commonly applied to Oahspe, put together by our dear brother Cosmon Cal, the Cloud Kicker, roughly about 4 years ago. And it's a 95-page document, man. Yesterday, I got down to page 22. All right. So again, yesterday, you can go on back and look at the video. You dig? I'm going to go back. I'm going to go on down. That was cold right there about that whole Abraham Lincoln and the freeing of the slaves, boy. That was cold. I can't even front. I was like, dang. I think we should start right there. Let me see. We got it in yesterday. I ain't came front. That Natty Maynard was powerful. Yeah, because that Nick Rose talk about the drugs. You know what? I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start with old Honest Aid. You dig? And again, yesterday we went thoroughly into the history of who JBN is. Yeah, it's a 160-page doc. You dig? So if you want to finish reading that, you can read it at your own time. I put the link in the chat. All you gotta do is go to OahspeStandardEdition.com and read it for yourself. They even got a section on the transmission of Oahspe, which kind of gave a summary of that. You know what I mean? In what we just read. Now we about to get into what spiritual forces were at work when Abraham Lincoln changed his mind about emancipating the slaves of America. Because when he ran for president, he had no intention of doing so. All right. Now, did you know it's in Oahspe what happened? Huh? It's in Oahspe what happened. And the crazy part about it, John Newbro was not there when Lincoln decided to change his mind. The people that was there, including the Sears, didn't write about this account until 1892. 1 year after the death of John Newbro and 30 years after the event. But 10 years after Oahspe was already written. And she wrote a book word for word on what Oahspe was saying. Boy, if that ain't prophecy, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Y'all go ahead and get y'all whatchamacallit real quick, man. Go ahead and get y'all some water. I'm gonna give me some water real quick. Stretch. Credit gang and this thing. We right back at it.
Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old texts lining up that predicted events. I speed a book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old texts lining up that predicted events. I speed a book that make it all make sense. Sirens in the night, nobody shocked at the noise. Yellow tape stretch where they once played as boys. Numbers on the screen turning life to a choice. Timeline scroll quick, life never had a voice. Crowds gather round, but the questions remain. Everybody seen it, but ain't got a name. Patterns in the chaos, but it's easier to blame with whatever narrative the channels want to frame. History buried, but it bleed through the cracks. Old warnings written, now they line up with facts. Same cycles turning, just a different set of acts. Same end result every time it collapses. Nobody asking why the pressure's immense or why it feel heavier just to exist. Everything loud, laced with suspense, like something got taken without any compense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. I speed a book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. I speed a book that make it all make sense. Books full of knowledge, but the spirit get ignored. Mapped out the stars, they think Saturn's the Lord. Charts on the wall, got them feeling the shore. Cut off anything that ain't measured or explored. Teach what they see, all else is dismissed. Call it blasphemy if it don't coexist with the data they gather in the systems they script. Truth get narrowed down to the lens they equip. People walk around like they stuck in a phase. Talk like they living but they lost in a maze. Can't tell the difference, real life in the stage. Playing out scripts that they write on a page. Try to speak deep but get labeled intense. Say it's too much or it don't make sense, but the more that they reject, the more it commence, like a loop that repeat with a porous defense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Big buildings rise, put a crown on the place, call it center of the world, everything in second place. Power gets stacked, now it's all about the race. Who can dominate the map, who can regulate the space? Leaders speak loud, but it's all self-interest. Every move calculated, never random in the business. Send waves out with just a widen the distance between those who comply and those in resistance. Glory on display, make it look like it's pure, but behind closed doors, it's a different report. Decisions getting made that the public can't afford, where disease get patented without no cure. Expansion the goal and never knowing it ends. Armies of the gods cleanse the land of descent. Every structure built will eventually bend. When it's rooted in control, it despises free men. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. I speed the book to make it all make sense. Time coming close where it won't be belief. Things getting shown, put the doubters to sleep. Not a matter of opinion, a scientific retreat. When it's sight in the eye, can't deny what it sees. Proof in the works, even if it take time.
Yeah, that's that Creator Gang music right there, boy. Ooh wee. Yeah, boy. Let's get into this debate with this doc that we got. You know what I mean? And let's go ahead and start back with old Honest Abe. You dig? What forces were at play that caused this man to change his mind concerning their so-called slave of the Americas? Remember, when Lincoln ran, and that's an easy search, but when Lincoln ran for president, he had no desire to break up the institution of slavery. He didn't. And it's wild because I knew that on my own research. I did my own independent research on Lincoln years ago. Right when I started studying, you know, the whole Israelite literature and all that. I knew that then. I said, and I always wondered what made him change his mind, though. When he ran as president, he didn't give a hell about no slaves that were in bondage. He didn't give a hell about none of that. You did? Matter of fact, it's a plantation, because he's from Illinois. It's a plantation. Dang, what's the name of that plantation? It's in Illinois. You dig? It was still standing up to a couple years ago when a huge tornado swung through there and destroyed it. But Abraham Lincoln stayed at that plantation in southern Illinois. It ain't that far from St. Louis. I forgot the name of the plantation, man. Reason I know about it, because you got Israelite elders from St. Louis that actually visited. Like, you could go visit that plantation. Tourists, you could come visit that deal. They still had the shackles and the balls and shackles still on the ground, and they even had the shack where they used to breed slaves at. You know what I mean? They used this one cat named Uncle Bob. They used him to father over 300 slaves. Let me say, the man lost his mind. He had over 300 children. Well, I think dude's name was Master Crenshaw or something like that. I forgot the name of the plantation, but it was in southern Illinois. The elders in St. Louis had footage of it. Jacob and them, they used to show us. They used to show us the actual, when they was in the 80s. Jacob, the Hebrew one, and some of y'all know OG Maddox. You know what I mean? The old Joker thought he was a pimp back in the day. But he took Jake and them, the Hebrew one, and I don't know if y'all know Moses, but older Israelite elder in St. Louis. He took Jacob and Moses down to southern Illinois to visit this plantation that Abraham Lincoln stayed there as a guest. When he was running for president. Yeah. Now, at this plantation, they had a room called Uncle Bob's room. And Uncle Bob was used to father over 300 slaves for that slave master. You know what I mean? He busted so many nuts to have children that he lost his mind. He was used basically as a dog to breed more slaves. Abraham Lincoln stayed there as a guest while he was running for president. All right. So I always wondered, what the hell made him change his mind, though? What would have made him change his mind? Huh? Not until I read Oahspe. I said, oh, boy. The Creator's hand really moved. The Creator moved on behalf of you so-called slaves in America. You dig? Straight move. Watch this. Does Oahspe say Lincoln didn't authorize / author the Emancipation Proclamation? No, it doesn't. It is. Abraham Lincoln discussed the Emancipation Proclamation with Secretaries of State William H. Seward and Gideon Welles. Seward urged that the proclamation not be issued in July 1862, when Lincoln first drew it up. Frederick Douglass, an influential abolitionist, also advised Lincoln on the issue. Douglass and Lincoln met 3 times in the White House, and Douglass became Lincoln's special advisor in 1865. Douglass urged Lincoln to emancipate all enslaved people in the United States. It is commonly known that Lincoln was not in favor of freeing the slaves. But what is uncommon is the what / who changed his mind. Y'all need to pay attention to this, man. This is serious. This is serious. You know what I mean? Ooh-wee. Now watch this. Watch this. Bang. Book of S, daughter of Jehovah, chapter 20 and 20. Jehovah said to his ambassadress, which is a high-raised female angel. Right? If y'all look in the chat, Cal put the name on her. Look. I got to read Oahspe to get an understanding on it, though. Like if you know about the arc cycles and the administration of the gods and how long a god sit as ruler over certain over earth and her heavens for a certain period of time and then make way for the next gods and all that. Yeah. And then you got a whole god or a goddess that be over a whole arc cycle. Huh? So Jehovah told one of his daughters was used to emancipate the so-called slaves here in the Americas. See, I know in your Bible, they don't even mention female angels. Maybe one time in the book of Zechariah, but for the most part, the woman is not even mentioned when it comes to the makeup of the kingdoms, the heavenly kingdoms of the Creator. You don't even hear nothing about no women. Jehovah said to his ambassadors, take your own inspiring host and go down to the earth to Washington, D.C., the capital city, to Lincoln, the president, and hold this matter up to him so that he may understand me. For he is not bound in doctrines, meaning he's not indoctrinated. You know what I mean? For which reason my angels made him president, and for this purpose which I have in hand. See, now remember when JBN was writing this, according to him, he wasn't even allowed to, or typing this, he wasn't even allowed to read this until it was done. So you got JBN typing this not under his own volition. This stuff ain't coming out his own mind. He's just being used as the vehicle to type it up. But he can't read none of this until he done typing. 50 weeks later. Dang. It is. And the angels of Jehovah went to Lincoln in a vision like a dream, and they said to him, Lincoln, Lincoln. And he answered and said, who are you? And the angel said, those who come in Jehovah's name for freedom's sake. Behold, millions of his angels look down from heaven and would come to your armies if you would only proclaim freedom to the slaves. See, this book about you. You run around talking about, you know what I mean? This book is racist. This is about the freedom of the slaves and the spiritual forces that were involved to make your president the most powerful man in the world at the time, the commander in chief, which made him move to sign a declaration, to free you. And you run around talking about this is a racist book. And look what the angels told Lincoln in his vision, in his dream. The Creator's hand is in this matter. The next night, the angels came again and retold their words, but added to them, the great majority of the country is ripe for this matter. You fear this is only a foolish dream. Behold, we will give you proof tomorrow. Jehovah said, I will make this matter a testimony to this nation so that no man may deny it. See? Check this out. And I will show also how my angels work singly and in mighty legions. Now, at that time, living in Washington was a seeress. A woman, a female who could hear, see, and speak with the spirit world. A seeress. Then it names her Nettie Maynard. Yeah, I had to look her up. Blew my mind. Look at this. Through whom spirit spoke in her entrancement. And on the day mentioned, the angel spoke through her, saying to one Casey, Colonel Casey, go and fetch the president into the presence of this woman. And Casey went to Lincoln and told him what was said. And when Lincoln was before the seeress, the angel of Jehovah entranced her and said to him, we said we would give you proof tomorrow. Behold, we repeat to you, Jehovah is in this matter. Unless you proclaim the freedom of the slaves, you shall not succeed. Do this, though, and the enemy's army shall melt away like snow in the sun. Lincoln's eyes were open, and he immediately went and proclaimed freedom to the whole 4 million slaves. Boy, I bet the hairs on his back stood up when that little girl got to speak in that. He just had a vision or a dream 2 days in a row. Doubting it, like, hold on, nah, man, that can't be true. All right, we're going to give you proof tomorrow. And then the credit entranced this little girl, and she said, look, we told you we was going to give you proof. Go and free them slaves. And watch the enemy's armies melt away like snow. And Lincoln like, oh, I bet. Woo. Woo, like Sister Tabitha say, could you imagine how JBN felt when he was allowed to read Oahspe, seeing slavery was the business of the day? Exactly. Whoa. Now, let's go and read Nettie Maynard. She was a teenager when this happened. She actually wrote about this 30 years later in 1892, 1 year after JBN was dead. 10 years after Oahspe was available to read and available for public scrutiny. She actually wrote a book about when Lincoln came to see her. What's the name of the book? Malaki. Right here. Was Abraham Lincoln a spiritualist or curious revelations from the life of a trance medium? By who? Nettie Colborn Maynard. Her name is in Oahspe. Wow. Okay, well, let's go read her words. Remember, she fell into a trance, which means she's speaking words, but they're not her own. JBN typing words, but they not his own. What the angels tell him? Tomorrow we gonna give you proof. Undeniable proof. Was Lincoln a spiritualist? There you go right here. Page 72 from her book. It say we forming a circle. He said, well, how do you do it? Looking at me, Mr. Laurie came to the rescue and said we had been accustomed to sit in a circle and to join hands. But he did not think it would be necessary in this instance. While he was yet speaking, I lost all consciousness of my surroundings and passed under control. For more than an hour, I was made to talk to him, and I learned from my friends afterward that it was upon matters that he seemed fully to understand, while they comprehended very little until that portion was reached that related to the forthcoming Emancipation Proclamation. He was charged with the utmost solemnity and force of manner not to abate the terms of his issue and not to delay its enforcement as a law beyond the opening of the year. And he was assured that it was to be the crowning event of his administration and his life, and that while he was being counseled by strong parties to defer the enforcement of it, hoping to supplant it by other measures and to delay action, he must in no wise heed such counsel, but stand firm to his convictions and fearlessly perform the work and fulfill the mission for which he had been raised up by an overruling providence. That's from Nettie Maynard's book about Abraham Lincoln and the day Lincoln came to see her and how she passed out, but her people, and she was speaking for more than an hour, not under her own volition. But when she came to and asked the people that was there, they was like, look, a lot of that was hard to understand, but what we did understand was that he supposed to sign the Emancipation Proclamation immediately and free them slaves. Look at this. Look at this. What you think it's a game? What you think we playing? This meeting between Miss Maynard and President Lincoln happened in December 1862. And no one knew this info but the people around Lincoln. Oahspe revealed this information in 1882. 20 years later, right? 30 years later, 1892, y'all. Nettie Maynard herself independently confirms the words of Oahspe. Bad drop, boy. Making Oahspe a primary on this historical event. So if JBN plagiarized this book, where did he get his source from? Especially since the source wasn't created till 1 year after JBN's death. Bag drop, boy. There's no other way to explain that. There's no other way to explain that. And mind you, when he's typing this, he's not allowed to read it until he's done typing it. This ain't even available for the public to read to 1882. That event with Lincoln was 20 years earlier. But the firsthand source account of what happened to make him change his mind didn't come out to 1892, 30 years after the event, but 10 years after Oahspe was available to read. You can't even make that up, bro. That's a shit. What do you call that if that ain't prophecy? Good night. All right, let's get into it. Are drugs modern day Negroes? No. Go sit down somewhere. Are drugs extinct? Yes. Does every person alive have drug genetics on this planet? Yes. What is a drug today and how can you tell? Drug, a low mortal, one who desires no spiritual light, one who cannot understand spiritually, an evil man, a warrior. Donald Trump is a drug. Benjamin Netanyahu is a drug. King Von is a drug. Anybody who loves war and evil, you dig, and does not desire any type of spiritual light, they are drugs. They're a low mortal. Look at this. Right here, first book of the first Lords 1:13. And the iron strayed out of the garden of paradise and began to dwell with the Asuans. And there was born into the world a new race called Druk. Pay attention. And they did not have the light of the Father in them. Neither could they be inspired with shame nor with heavenly things. But the Ions were grateful to the Lord, and they gave sacrifice and burnt offerings. And they said to the Druks, go sacrifice to the Lord. And look, y'all, these are primitive people. This is not modern man, okay? This is letting you know how ancient man was getting down. Go sacrifice to the Lord, and he will prosper you. But the Druks did not understand, and they, look at them, and they fell upon the Lord's chosen and slew them right and left, taking their possessions. And the Lord said to the Druks, because you have slain your brethren, you shall depart out of the place of God. And so that you may be known to the ends of the earth, I put my mark upon you. The Druks, because of their behavior, sound like biblical Cain. The Ions sound like biblical Abel. And the mark of the Lord put upon the Druks was the shadow of blood, which being interpreted as war. And the Lord God said, by this sign, the tribes of Druk and their descendants shall be known to the end of the world. Subnote 197. Note that war is the distinguishing characteristic of the tribes of Druk and their descendants, but not their colors, size, geographic location, etc. Every person alive today descends from both Ions and Druks, and those who war are following their Druk ancestry rather than their Ion ancestry. Think about it. Is biblical God a Druk? Is this the reason that biblical God's answer to every problem is fear, killing, murder, and death? Your God may be a drunk, huh? Were the ions white and yellow? Yes. Were they modern pale-skinned Europeans? No. And y'all, these are the things that people, read in Oahspe and, come up with every excuse not to deal with. First book of the First Lords. The ions were white and yellow. That's chapter 2 and 4, 3 and 25. Protect the ions, the little people. These jokers ain't no bigger than 3 feet. They little people, right? White and yellow. Call them the sacred people. Now, notice the number 204 is right there. So let's go into the sub notes, right? Look what it says about white and yellow. It says, again, this is a generalization, right? See chapter 2, verse 4. Well, when reference is made as above to white people, it does not mean what we today call white people. This is in Oahspe telling you that the white and yellow description for the iron and the brown and dark description for the drug has nothing to do with what you call black folk today and white folk today. You see, but look, all you had to do was keep reading. Oahspe tell you this ain't got the white and yellow ain't got nothing to do with what you call a European today, or the black and brown people ain't got nothing to do with what you call a Negro or African today. It's strictly talking about behavior, and being that the certain group don't got the light of the Creator on them, they're not shining. It's an aura that's about them. They're shining. And the other ones ain't. One practice war, one practice peace. One eat flesh and one don't. See, it's really that simple. So, yeah, if you Negroes or you musty Negroes are out there acting like drunks, then that's what the hell we gonna call you. What do you think that is if you out in the streets putting that pistol on your brother and on your sister, you know what I mean, and sending them into the spirit world? You acting like a drunk. You acting like somebody don't have a lick of spiritual light in them. But if you all about peace, love, life, and liberty to all without the sacrifice of any, you acting like an iron. You acting like the chosen. Yahweh, my brother. Yeah, they won't read this, man. But right in the sub notes, it tell you this is a generalization. Well, reference is made as above the white people. It does not mean what today we call white people, but white in fact with white hair also. The same remarks hold in reference to yellow people. Look at this. She's white and yellow, got white skin and white yellow hair, right? She's an albino. But if this person right here was spilling blood and chewing flesh and acting low, guess what she would be? Even though her skin is pale and her hair is yellow, she would be a drug. She would be a drug. Now, if her skin was highly carbonated or melanated, right, and her hair was black and woolly, but she practiced peace, love, life, and liberty to all, she would be considered an iron. It's more about behavior than what a thing looked like. And we always tell y'all this. We always tell you this. Would you say, Key, somebody said you was lying? It's really simple. It's all based off your moral character and your behavior. It really ain't based off what a thing looked like. But since y'all so caught up on what things, phenotypes and all that, we be having to put things like this in your face. And then go show you in the book of Enoch that Noah was described looking just like this. Pale skin. And guess what most of you brews that read the book of Enoch gonna say, oh no, Noah was an albino. Well, why the Ions and Oahspe can't be albinos then? You just want this to be a racist book. But we just read the whole Emancipation Proclamation and the freeing of the slaves. You understand? Was by the power and authority of the Creator through one of his high-raised daughters. Look at this. Thus, white skin here is not the color of what in early cosmology today was called the white race, being really a light or pale copper or beige, if you think about it. Really ain't no white folk on this earth. You just call them that. There's like we're called black, but we got brown skin. But it would seem that the white of the ions was in complexion more moon white. Moreover, being half angel, they may have had a more radiant or glowing skin tone and a light in the eye. You see that? They had an aura about them because the light of the Creator was with them, was on them. That's it. But again, y'all, all this is primitive man. These people aren't even in the earth. You can't go point at an iron today or point at a drug. Only way you can tell is based off the behavior. If you on demon time, you a drug. If you on peace time, you a iron. If that makes sense, y'all please drop a 10,000 in the chat, man. And look, we didn't even write the sub notes that's in Oahspe. And it's telling you right in the sub notes, like, look, don't get this confused with the white race today and the black race today. Don't get it confused. You dig? And that's what everybody's trying to do. They're just trying to play on your racial bias. Because they don't got nothing else. They have nothing else for you. But if I pulled out an ancient description of Paul, you're going to be offended. If I pull out go into the book of Enoch and pull out the description of Noah, you're going to be offended. Now all of a sudden, these are albinos. Time to stop the games. All right. For your information, not only have short-statured indigenous people all across the globe proven to be the oldest genetic stocks documented. You mean to tell me the oldest genetic stocks documented are like the little pygmy toys? Short little jokers, 3 feet tall. They've been proven to be the oldest genetic stock in the world, the shortest group of people in this earth. You know, it's like the pygmy toy and all them. They got the oldest Y chromosomes. They got the oldest genetic stock in the earth. It ain't that tall gene like Shaquille O'Neal. Like Wemby, what was the boy named Wemby that played for the Spurs? No, not at all. The oldest genetic stock in the earth, y'all, actually is some short little jokers. But did you know that these pale-skinned people have been proven historically? Have you ever heard about the albino Negro Indians of America, also called mound builders and moon-eyed people? Look at this right here. The black-eyed Indians met by the Spaniards in Louisiana in 1543. See Soto's invasion. The moon-eyed Negroes and albinos destroyed by the Cherokees and seen in Panama. Bartoon, and among these, the Yoruba language has 50% of analogy with the Ghana, 40% with the Ashanti. See, you're dealing with African tribes here. Ghana, Ashanti, or Fanti of Guinea, and about 33% with the Fula, Bornu, and Congo languages of Africa. In Asia, it has 39% of numerical affinity with the Semang Negroes and 40% with the Negroes of Andaman, as well as these of Australia or New Holland. Look, these little short jokers all over the planet. And they got the oldest genetic stock. See, you men that's trying to read Oahspe and try to get an edge and try to play on everybody's racial emotions, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Atlantic Journal and Friend of Knowledge. What is you talking about? Go sit down somewhere. So this article right here, aligning with Oahspe's theme of multi-regional shared genetics, heritage, culture, and even language. Were all ions white and yellow? No. I told somebody this the other day, like, look, man, all you gotta do is keep reading, man. Like me, I'm unplugged from the matrix. I don't give a damn what a thing look like. I'm strictly listening for the message. I don't care nothing about what something looked like. It matters zero to me. You dig? I read spirits. I'm going to read the wrong. Huh? If a short joker like Joe Pesci walk up on me, on murder, kill time, I'm up out of there. What the hell you mean? The hell just because of what he looked like? I'm the hell up out of there. Or if he walk up on me looking opposite of Joe Pesci, and he taller than the basketball player Wemby, but he practiced peace and all that. Okay, well, we can break bread. That's cool. I don't care what a thing look like outwardly. It matters nothing to me. I'm reading your spirit. If the vibe you give off is off, I'm out of there. And I've been living like that my whole life, to be honest with you. And it done saved me plenty of times. The vibe off up in here, man, I'm about to go. Catch y'all later. You dig? And I done left and got a call about an hour later. Something horrible happened. I'm glad I left, man. Well, all the iron's white and yellow according to Oahspe. No. The Lord's fifth book. I don't give a hell what something looked like. Man, I'm reading the wrong. The Lord's fifth book, the tribes of Ham. Okay, so this is Africa. Over there with my brother, the minister of wellness, and my brother, creator of Yahoo. He in South Africa. Now look at the ions on the continent of Africa. The tribes of Ham were of all colors: black, white, yellow, copper, red, and brown. Nevertheless, they were who? Ions. In parentheses, it says faithists. I mean, these were peaceful people, man. They wasn't going to war and spilling blood and chewing on flesh. They wasn't into none of that, right? Having flat nails and short arms and desiring to acquire knowledge. And I brought them to a country of sand fields with fields of rich pastures interspersed where lived only a few natives. Dark people with short hair. Neither did I admit even the hair of the head of man without providing testimony of my word. Let's get into this. Well, what about the flood? Didn't your creator cause the flood to happen? Didn't it repent him? Wasn't he angry? No, your God was angry, according to your biblical narrative. Let's go read about the flood narrative. Right here in Oahspe. During the flood, was creator angry, or did he repent? Man was made like the biblical demon did. No. I like how you got that on there, boy. The Lord's first book. The Lord said, a wise physician amputates a diseased limb and so preserves the trunk to become healed. Did I not see the rankness of the tribes of darkness, and that the proceedings of man would render the earth void? What worth has all the world if it does not bring forth heirs to everlasting salvation? Heirs to everlasting life. Behold, I saw that my chosen had become exterminated on all the divisions of the earth except Pan. And I saw that those who had been their destroyers had in turn nearly exterminated one another. And I saw that by bringing the remnants of my people here, they could reestablish themselves and become the seed of a mighty people. Precept upon precept. Ain't that what y'all say? Precept. Let's go to the synopsis of 16 cycles in Oahspe. Wig shot. Look at this. So Jehovah said, now will prune the earth and her heaven. Behold, the division of Waga or Pan shall be hewn off and cast beneath the waters of the ocean. Her heaven shall no longer be tenable by the spirits of destruction, for I will rend its foundation and scatter them in the winds of heaven. Go therefore down to the earth and provide nets and blankets for receiving the spirits of darkness and for receiving the spirits of mortals who shall perish in the waters. Look at that. Also, provide a place in my exalted heaven suitable for them. You should put walls around them in heaven so they cannot escape, but can be weaned from evil. So even though the continent was sunk and a gang of people died behind it, look how the Creator provided for their spirit and provided resting places for their spirits and receiving blankets for their spirits once they died and gave up the ghost. Now, the Creator wasn't angry, you understand? But he Creator understood that if this thing is left unchecked, you dig, then there won't be any heirs being brought forth to everlasting life. So look, this is what we about to do. Like a wise physician to amputate, cut off a limb, to heal the trunk, or to preserve the trunk, we about to go ahead and sink this continent right here. But look, even though they gonna die physically, spiritually speaking, I got a place provided for them where they can be at until they are weaned from the evil that's attached to them. See, it's all a system in order. The Creator even provided for the millions of spirits of people that died during the sinking of the continent. It didn't repent him that he made man. You see? It was a system in place. Like, okay, well, look, we gonna do this, but look, he didn't burn them in hell forever or none of that madness. He didn't do that. Huh? He provided receiving blankets for them and angels to receive them in a place where they should need to be put, like an incubator or something. Until they're weaned from their evil. And then guess what they can do after that? Start their resurrection process. And see, that's cold. That's cold. He wasn't angry when all that went down. That's your demonic God. Oh, that's in the synopsis of the 16 cycles, Key, chapter 3, 17 through 18. It's also right there, and I think it's a Shang or something, or 8th. It's in one of them. You did. It's right there, like in the beginning too. Like, dang, there it is. Little cow say right here. Guess your little demonic demon didn't think this far ahead, huh? As a matter of fact, does your God even have a plan for redemption? Or is it infinite hell for a finite action? For your information, because neither you nor your God actually know anything about the flood, let alone what year it happened. Let me give you a little spiritual help. In the year 22553 BC, 24.4 billion people worldwide were unalived by the same entity that gave the life during the flood. But what's even more amazing is the Creator sent 5 angels for every single person to whisk away the spirit before the body dies. That's 122 billion angels. Bag drop, boy. But your deity don't have a plan of redemption? I mean, I'm confused. What's really going on? Exodus 15:3, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name, Ish. A man, a male, husband, human being, a person in contrast to God. The Bible describes your God or Lord as a man, a human being in contrast to God. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't write the book. I only read what was in it. How can the biblical God commanding the death of black people by the hands of other black be better for black people? The math ain't mathing at all. But the biblical demon and his demonic followers, Bruce, would justify this black on black crime even at the loss of their own integrity, setting their own common sense to the side. Let's address another rumor. And that video is them Bruce saying they would kill their children. Let's address another rumor. This is easy for us. Let's address this. Let me take this off the screen. Bang. Yeah, the 8th go hard. My bad, y'all. Dang, I'm tripping. All right, now watch this right. Let's address another rumor. We got time today. Boy. Rumor that the information within Oahspe is plagiarized from other texts. As one who has taken the time to actually read the book and gain understanding from it, and as a seeker of truth, I can say with a clear conscience that there is no book in the world that has the info Oahspe contains. Facts. Right? Look, look. My brother Cal put this together. I'm on my 4th time reading Oahspe. Listen to me, y'all. There is no book in the world that has the info Oahspe contains. Nor does any so-called spiritual text disseminate the information even remotely similar to how Oahspe has. It is truly a marvel of the English language and came from no known prior text. It is the primary for the info it contains. But don't believe us. Don't believe me. Believe Max Mueller. Y'all know who Max Mueller is, don't you? Who is Max Mueller? Friedrich Max Mueller, German, born December 6, 1823, died October 1900. Was a German boy born philologist and Orientalist who lived and studied in Britain for most of his life. He was one of the founders of the Western academic disciplines of Indian studies and religious studies. Career highlights: writer and scholar, considered a master linguist, PhD graduate linguist at age 20, Oxford's first professor of comparative philology. What is meant by comparative philology? Comparative linguistics, formerly comparative grammar or comparative philology. Study of the relationships or correspondences between two or more languages and the techniques used to discover whether the languages have a common ancestor. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see what one of the preeminent linguists and scholars of the 19th through 20th century has to say about the possibility of plagiarism in Oahspe. San Pedro News Pilot, Volume 9, number 260, January 2nd, 1937. Look at this. Look at this right here. The famous Orientalist and scholar Max Mueller has said that there existed no known sources from which the information given could have been obtained, and had there been such sources, it would have taken the combined life labor of 20 men to cull and edit the material. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear what this man said about Oahspe? This man right here, Max Mueller. Look what he said. Let's read that again. Max Mueller has said that there existed no known sources from which the information given could have been obtained. And had there been such sources, it would have taken the combined life labor of 20 men to cull and edit the material. Bag drop, boy. You got these men running right here talking about something the Oahspe is plagiarized, and shut the hell up. You ain't even read this thing. You ain't even read this. Meanwhile, you got master linguists, doctors in languages that compare languages with each other and see if they got a common ancestor who have actually read it, like Max Mueller. And he said there didn't even exist no known sources by which this information could have been given that's in Oahspe. Had there been any sources, it would have took the combined lifetime of 20 men to cull and edit the material. Boy, I don't think y'all really understand how powerful that is. That just ended the plagiarism argument. Oahspe is the only source in the world for the info it contains, making it a primary source. To finally end all this plagiarism talk where Oahspe is concerned, let any haters of the Most High Creator show us all where the book of Fergopody, the synopsis of 16 cycles, or the book of Af, or maybe the book of Discipline, or the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy draws this information from. I'll wait. Please show us all the text JBN used to plagiarize this info from. Till you can source up, you need to shut up. Bag drop. Headshot. Wig shot, boy. Rumor that the compiler of Oahspe JBN is a racist and that his family owned slaves or condoned slavery in his writings. Many make unfounded claims that JBN's family owned slaves. Even a 5-second Google search will show you through JBN's familial lineage that slavery is very unlikely, being that JBN descends from French Huguenots. Do y'all even know who the Huguenots are? Source: ideapublishers.org. investigating the Sephardic Jewish ancestry of colonial French Canadians through genetic and historical evidence. When we drop down to the abstract of this scholastic DNA report, what do we find about the Huguenots' lineage? Elizabeth Hirschman, Department of Business and Economics, University of Virginia Wise, and I quote, thus using the new methodology of ancestral DNA tracing, the researcher documents that the majority of Huguenot and Acadian colonists in French Canada were of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. They are most likely descended from Sephardic Jews who fled to France from the Iberian Peninsula in the late 1300s and the early 1500s. As of today, there has been no objective proof of JBN ever owning slaves. Look, we just read his story. His father was a principal and his mama was a spiritualist. Furthermore, with JBN's French Huguenot Sephardic Jewish heritage, he would have been more likely the oppressed than he would have been the oppressor. With JBN being a prophet and of Sephardic heritage, even with pale skin, he upholds the old biblical adage that all creators' prophets are of the same line. I mean, let that sink in. Many have by now watched the debate between my brother Selah Shalom and Lion Zion Lex. In this debate, Zion makes a blasphemous claim that JBN condones slavery. And in the book Fall of Fort Sumter, written in 1860, 22 years before Oahspe, Zion makes a claim that JBN's words and thoughts are quoted on page 53 of the aforementioned book. This screenshot taken at the debate shows Zion making his claim that he, number one, read the book, which he's lying. Number two, that these are JBN's words. Look at that. There go old Lion Zion Lex right there. Y'all love to, sit up and parade this man around like he's a linguist and scholar and look, he like to use big, fancy, facetious words and conjugate his verbs and go sit your ass down somewhere. We caught that ass in a lie. And you know what's crazy? The Israelite community, after we showed them this, y'all, they act like that shit didn't even happen, man. There is no integrity amongst these mumble mouth midgets. None. All right, so this is what he does. He zooms in on the right side of the page. This is what he does. And that's your boy, Oil of Olay, Zion Lex on the left. Oil of Olay. Look at this. And this is what he highlights right here. The prime evil condition of the black man, the stigma the creator put upon him when he slew Abel, the black man is Cain. Have I so set down that all parties cannot but see the wisdom of the all-wise ruler of the universe in giving them over into eternal bondage? And he had the crowd thinking that these was John Newbro's words. This a book that he wrote called The Fall of Fort Sumter. But what make you think these are his words that he's quoting right here? All you had to do was bag up a paragraph and read, and you'll see that he's quoting the letter of a white clergy preacher who's a servant of your God, Zion Lex, biblical God. We caught you in a clear lie. It says, see the wisdom of the all-wise ruler of the universe and giving them over into eternal bondage to the white man. I have shown the glory of God in the elevation of the white man, whose triumphs have been the only contribution to civilization, religion, and liberty. I have here pictured the same white man in his glory and ease, seeking out the degenerate African and bringing him over here and teaching him to toil and to behold the beauties of Christianity. I have shown, and notice he's saying Cain and Abel, so he's using Bible. He's a servant of biblical God, Zion Lex's God. You Hebrew Israelites, God. Good night, boy. I have shown how the black man is to be enlightened and how by doing the drudgery of life, he gives the white man time and liberty to ascertain the laws of God. In fact, I have so explained the degradation of labor that even the men in the free states must acknowledge the blessing of our divine institution of slavery. He read that in that debate, and everybody thought that Zion Lex found something, man. Found out that the compiler of Oahspe, John Newbro, his thoughts on the black man and white man, that the black man was cursed by God to be a slave to the white man. Huh? That's crazy. And all you had to do, y'all, all you had to do was bag up a paragraph. Look at this. Notice he hid the bottom of the page. We must ask ourselves, are Zion's claims true? Did Zion actually read the book? Did JBN say those things? Or did he lie and not read the book and uncritically made a blanket statement with the overall assumption being that all white people are evil and slave owners? And that point two, and that we, the listening audience, wouldn't be smart enough or have already previously read the book simply because it's new to him. Trick no good. We already read it. And we are now going to show your purposefully lying, Zion Lex, which calls into question your honor and integrity. Because if you're willing to lie to the people in order to make it seem as if you're winning in a debate just to save face, you're not the type of teacher that our people need in these days and times anyway, boy. Belt the ass. Belt the ass. Look at this. Let's prove lying Zion lied on purpose. See, when you really a scholar, you don't have to make it up. You just show your works. So why didn't Zion show the whole page? Because it would expose his lie. On page 53, follow Fort Sumter. Don't worry, we're finna zoom in, y'all. All right. Let's zoom in and see who's talking, and let's see if the words or ideas spoken are those of JBN. If you actually read the book, there should be no discrepancy as in to who's speaking. Check. If Zion would have read the book and not lied about reading the book, he would have known these are the racist words of followers of his own biblical Christian God. That are advocating for slavery of the Negro. Let's read. Let's read. Hold on. Right here. All right, right here. We're gonna go over to 52 and then read in. All right, right over here. All right. It says, when I thus encouraged him, he started up. I tell you, said he, even yet the country may be saved if it will hearken to our counsel. I have here a letter from Bishop Hopkins. Hold on. Bishop Hopkins? This ain't got nothing to do with the words of JBN. This is a letter from a bishop, a Southern clergyman. Boy, I tell you, belt the ass, boy. I have here a letter from Bishop Hopkins and here a sermon from Boyden of Hopedale, Virginia, on the epidemic of the 19th century, the sympathy for the enslaved. With these in the Constitution, the country must stand. I took the production spoken of and was about to peruse them when in came the two reverend gentlemen authors alluded to. Hopkins and Boyden walk in. Very cordially, Buchanan received them and gave me, an introduction. Hopkins at once took up his letter, remarking, in this will you find all the substance of the dispute. I don't know why you got this covered up right here. And then right here, it says right here, It says the stigma the Creator put upon him when he slew Abel, talking about the black man. We showed that earlier. Have I so set down that all parties cannot but see the wisdom of the all-wise ruler of the universe and giving them over into eternal bondage to the white man? I have shown the glory of God in the elevation of the white man, whose triumphs have been the only contribution to civilization, religion, and liberty. I have here pictured this same white man in his glory and ease, seeking out the degenerate African and bringing him over here and teaching him to toil and to behold the beauties of Christianity. I have shown how the black man is to be enlightened and how by doing the drudgery of life, he gives the white man time and liberty to ascertain the laws of God. In fact, I have so explained the degradation of labor that even the men in the free states must acknowledge blessing of our divine institution of slavery. Y'all see this? Now, that's a letter written by your boy Hopkins. And he walked right into this meeting with Abraham Lincoln, took up his letter, and got to speaking and quoting it. Okay? Now look at it. Now watch this. So let's clear it up. As we see, not only is this not a first-person story written from JBN's point of view, but this is a third party named Buchanan who is listening to a preacher named Hopkins read his own letter. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this? Bishop John Hopkins is actually speaking, not the compiler of Oahspe. These are Hopkins' sentiments written by his own hand, not those of John Newbro. Question is, why couldn't Zion just keep it 100? So is Zion ignorantly lying, or is he lying on purpose? To be clear, this is a narrative told in fourth person. These are not the ideas of John Newbro. President Lincoln is talking to Buchanan about Boyden and Hopkins comes in and reads his own letter written by his own hand. So stop the cap. Look at that, boy. There go John Hopkins right there, Zion Lex. You read the words of John Hopkins, who walked into a meeting that Abraham Lincoln was having with a guy named Buchanan. Took the letter out of his hand and read his own words and sentiments himself. Who was Reverend John Henry Hopkins? A presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church. In office from 1865 to 1868. Look at this. That is the difference between the Creator Gang and the Hebrews. We keep it real first. Question: is this lion product of Jewish genetics or Hebrew indoctrination? And with the power invested in me as the son of the Creator, I now take your title of Moray, Zion Lex, and I pronounce you unfit to teach our people under the name of the Great Spirit. So you apologize for your perverse actions. You are spiritually persona non grata. Yeah, you bad people. You bad people. You bad people. And guess what? You've conveniently died Creator Gang since then. Conveniently. Zion, you've been exposed as a scholastic hack. You have been proven to lack honor, integrity, and spiritual acumen. In the words of the great American poet Tupac Amaru Shakur, rising power, Pac boy. Last words to a guy like you. Or why you lie? Rumor. Let's go into the next rumor. So no, y'all, John Bilal Newbro doesn't come from a family of slave traders. He never owned slaves. And in the book, The Fall of Fort Sumter, written in 1862, his sentiments was not in there that slavery was a divine institution given by the Almighty God. Not at all. Not at all. What you read in there was a letter from your boy Bishop Hopkins, who was a pro-slavery Southern clergyman who walked into a meeting that Abraham Lincoln had with some guy named Buchanan, grabbed his own letter, and reinforced his sentiments that he'd written with his own hand. To keep it all the way solid with y'all, Bishop Hopkins is a follower and worshiper of the biblical deity, the same biblical deity that Zion Lex worships. Ooh, boy, you was a straight liar. Boy, you a straight liar. Yeah, boy, you got to come on outside and apologize to the people. That's evil. Boy, you evil for that. You dig? And the truth about this, all to seem as if you won a debate, in which we all know you didn't win because you only went to the Torah 3 times. C-Lot went to the Torah more than you in that debate. He went to the Torah about 20 times and went to Oahspe about 70 times, dumped 114. C-Lot put 114 points on the scoreboard. 114 points on the board. You put up 0. And you lied. You played on the racial bias of the people to make it seem like John Newbro, the compiler of Oahspe, is a straight up racist. And that's a lie, bro. Straight lie. Straight lie. Let's address another rumor. A fruitarian Oahspe group in 1895, remember the date, 2 children were starved to death. Now, some of you people may hear JJ 7000, all them talk about, you know what I mean? Oahspe, I heard starving children. My God, man. Look at this. 2 children were starved to death. The first, a 1-year-old baby that was starved to death after being fed a diet of raw peeled apples. The infant was so ill it could not even cry. Two cult leaders, George Rensdale Hind and Dr. Louis Schlesinger, were indicted on murder charges in the death. The second death was Alice Hind, the 18-year-old daughter of leader George Rensdale Hind. She was not keen on Oahspe, so her fanatical father locked her in her room for 2 years and fed her bread and water. She died from starvation. George Hind hid the body of the daughter by burying it in the backyard, out the back door in an unmarked grave so authorities could not find the body. The Orange County coroner's inquest found that Alice Hind was starved to death. That's the rumor. That's the rumor, and man, people will run with that, y'all. Run with it. Notice said this is an Oahspe group, right? Look at the year, 1895. This is the rumor. Let me show you how cold this is, man. Let me show y'all how we walk these people down. Easy money. If you're a 5-second Google scholar, this is all you'll find on Oahspe. Remember, dates, times, and facts are always important. All right. The Societas Fraternia. Article clip from San Francisco Chronicle. Look at the date, 1879. But hold on. The date of birth said 1895. Okay. Well, what's going on? The Societas Fraternia. Article clip from San Francisco Chronicle, 1879. Article of children starved at Peace Community. Predates Oahspe and Faithism. No association with John Newbro. There's the newspaper article right there. Newspapers.com article, San Francisco Chronicle. Societas Fraternia. A very curious case was tried at Anaheim, Los Angeles County last Saturday, in which Richard Melrose, editor of the Gazette, was the complaining witness, and a couple of fanatics belonging to what is known as the Societas Fraternia were the defendants. It was charged that Mr. and Mrs. Hind, members of the Societas, were starving their 12-month child to death by feeding it nothing but raw fruit. The prosecution developed the facts that the Societas Fraternia was an association of free lovers founded by Dr. Schlesinger, who taught pure communism and prohibited his followers from eating anything but uncooked fruits and vegetables. Mrs. Hind had weaned her baby on syrup apples and was dieting it in accordance with the doctor's instructions. It was very thin, pale, and apparently in an advanced stage of starvation. Several reputable physicians testified that all of the Hind children, numbering 5, was suffering from a like cause, having been denied the food which nature craved. The ability of the parents to provide properly for their offspring was also proved. Dr. Schlesinger addressed the jury for the defense, assuming all responsibility for the peculiar dietic regimen of his followers and claiming to have a high and holy mission of reform for which he was being persecuted, as were the great leaders of thought in past eras or past ages. On cross-examination, he admitted that he was not a graduate of any medical college. Mr. Hind and several other dupes of the self-styled apostle of the new life swore that since abjuring cooked food, they felt better, both mentally and physically. Mrs. Hind gave her testimony in a low, sweet voice, touching in its pathos, and she pleaded with the jury to hold her guiltless of any design to injure the health of her baby, which she said was born with an appetite for fruit inherited from herself. She had watched the infant dwindle away with feelings of anguish which only a mother can experience, and fully believed that her magnetism alone now kept it alive. After arguments pro and con, the case was given to the jury, which after 2 hours deliberation was discharged, being unable to agree. There was evidently no intent to commit a crime, and the deluded parents were so clearly evidently shown to be under the influence of Schlesinger that several of the jurymen thought they were more deserving of pity than punishment. Now y'all look at the date, 1879. How are you saying this has anything to do with Oahspe? When was Oahspe written? 1881. It wasn't available for public scrutiny to 1882. This whole case was charged and adjudicated before Oahspe was even written and before faithism was even official. So how in the hell are you the rumor of Fruitarian Oahspe group, 1895, the Societas Fraternia? No, genius. This group had nothing to do with Oahspe. 1879 is before Oahspe was even written. This ain't got nothing to do with Oahspe. 1879 is before faithism was even official. You see, always look at the dates, man. We went and got the articles. What happened with the Societas Fraternia is of course bad, right? But that don't got nothing to do with Oahspe. The whole case was tried, adjudicated, and discharged before one word of Oahspe was ever written. So how are you putting this on Oahspe? If y'all understand the rumor of a Fruitarian Oahspe group starving their children to death in 1895, the Societas Fraternia is a lie put on Oahspe. Drop a 6,000 in the chat. That ain't got nothing to do with Oahspe. Wasn't even written yet. That ain't have nothing to do with Oahspe or faithism or John Newbro. But you got people out here that'll throw that right there on us. Oh man, y'all was feeding y'all babies peeled apples and you starved them. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy how they just throw something out there like that. Like, hold on, like, bro, like, how y'all throwing this on Oahspe and John Newbro and faithism and creator game when the whole thing was charged, adjudicated, and discharged before one word of Oahspe was even typed? This whole case was discharged 3 years before Oahspe was even available to be read by the public. 2 years before it even started getting typed out. That's crazy why people would just throw it out there. You can't confuse one with the other, man. You know what I mean? Let's get into the next rumor. The placentia grass eaters. Oh my God. This is another one. Remember dates. 1881, Oahspe was being typed out or done being typed out. In 1882 is when it was available for public scrutiny. Any dates before then have nothing to do with Oahspe or nothing to do with John Newbro and nothing to do with faithism. Nothing. Nothing. Let's go into the Placentia grass eaters. The story begins in 1876 when the English immigrant George R. Hind, here he go again, bought his family to Placentia, built a fine 2-story home, and began planting fruit trees. But rumors about the home soon began to swirl. It was painted gaudy colors inside, and the rooms were round, so that unwanted spirits had no opportunity to hide in corners. And the fruit trees, as it turned out, were intended to provide the family's principal diet, for they were strict vegetarians. None of this, of course, made the society's fraternity very popular with the neighbors. But what first brought the community to nationwide attention were charges in 1879 that they were starving their children to death. Look at this. Now you're going to get the whole rundown. Like, wait till you find out what really happened. Will babies really starve to death? Hey, man. In the end, a jury of 12 prominent local men could not agree on a verdict. It is said that the jury did not believe there was any intent to commit crime. The Gazette reported and therefore hesitated to convict the defendants. No disposition was manifested to convict Mr. and Mrs. Hind. At his baby brother's trial in 1879, 13-year-old Alfred Hind had testified that he appreciated his new uncooked vegetarian diet and wouldn't go back if he could. By 1885, he was also dead. Hold on. That boy, he's 13 in 1879. Okay, remember that baby brother's trial. Okay. The trial prompted a number of newspaper articles, most attacking, but a few defending the grass eaters. The grass eaters. The Anaheim Gazette was always particularly hostile toward the sect, but was charitable enough to run a few sympathetic articles. One of the more interesting was written by Dr. Eliab Joslin of Orange, who described sharing dinner with the residents. He praised it as a healthful regimen and noted that in late summer 1879, even that little baby is now a healthy, bright, and beautiful child. What the? Hold on. I thought the baby died. I thought the little baby died. Where is the starved child? Also notice they called the baby a boy. Was it a boy? Where is the supposed death? Notice the baby they're claiming starved to death May 1879 is still alive at a later date after the trial in June 1879. Why were there no convictions? This case took place 3 years before Oahspe was published. How can you tie Oahspe to this? In fact, let's take a look at what happened to the so-called starved child in 1879. 19-year-old Lily Hind, one of George's Hind's 2 surviving daughters, took another way out. In 1898, she drowned herself in a nearby reservoir. I am suffering so much from ill health, life is not worth living. I hope you will forgive me, Father. Read the note she left on the bank. She is a female, not even a boy. But I thought the coroner said she starved to death. Let's clear up all the lies and the rumors. Details. Walter Lockwood, one of the editors of Oahspe, moved to the community in 1884. But there are no official ties to other faithist groups of the day. In their own documents, they did not identify as readers of Oahspe. The Society's fraternity was a spiritualist, free love, vegan, raw food community founded in 1876, 6 years before the publication of Oahspe. They called themselves Society's fraternity. However, the surrounding community dubbed them the Placentia grass eaters and referred to them as freaks, faddists, and spooks. In May of 1879, the colony is raided by local authorities because one of the Hind's children is believed to be starving to death on the Society's diet. The complaint is apparently lodged by a Reverend Toombs living nearby. The case is tried in Los Angeles County Court in June of 1879. The jury failed to reach a verdict. There was evidently no intent to commit a crime. The Santa Ana Standard wrote a little wholesome hanging would be good for the entire community of frauds and fanatics. But a jury dismissed the charges. In 1898, Hines' daughter Alice, 19 years old, died from suicide by drowning. In her note, she apologized to her father for killing herself. Newspaper and historians speculate that her diet and digestive problems led to her melancholy. It should be noted that the group prided themselves on their raw food diet. So bread, a cooked food, would not have been used to starve Alice. It is important to remember that 10 years prior to her suicide, Alice's younger brother died. Her parents were implicated for his murder and acquitted. Her surviving brother and other members of the community were continually bullied by neighbors when they left the farm. And then her mother died. All of these things must have contributed to Alice's depression. Mental illness was not understood in the 1800s, and the most successful form or treatment at that time was lobotomy. Alice might have died from acidity, immersion therapy as an alternative to lobotomy. Let's clear up more lies. The Brotherhood of Light, Colorado and California, 1902 to the 1930. Rumors. 1906, Oahspe, Colorado. 13 children were originally given to this Oahspe Bible orphanage 4 miles outside the tiny town of Oahspe, Colorado in 1906. 12 died from malnutrition over the course of 1 year. 6 deaths occurred in 1 month. George Rose and Minnie Wheeler were arrested on 6 counts of manslaughter and were held over for trial. A coroner's inquest found that all 12 children were starved to death. The remaining 7 other children we placed in foster care. That's the rumor. Let's ask some very logical questions. Out of 13 children, if 12 died, how are there 7 left? Should be only 1 left, right? Out of 13 children, if 12 died, how are there 7 left? If 12 died, why were there only 6 charges? 12 mysterious deaths reveal weird religious sect. Taken from the above article. Trump's presidency should have at least alerted you to one true supposition: fake news. Point number 1, they didn't even get the name of the group correct. Brotherhood of Light. Point number 2, I thought 6 children died, or was it 11, 12, or 13? Seems you can't keep the lie straight. Point number 3, and be truthful. Even the biggest haters of JBN, Oahspe, and the creator all know that JBN, was a dentist, not a barber. Can we say fake news in 1906? Point number 4, it is clear that the newspaper never went out to see these children themselves. Take note of this name, H.B. Kerr. More about H.B. Kerr later. Notice there's somehow 12 children again. If 12 or 13 are dead, how are there 7 babies left? If 12 were starved to death, why only 6 charges? Let's see what people who actually knew the Brotherhood had to say at that time. The Brotherhood of Light, volume 47, number 335, December 1st, 1906. The Brotherhood of Light. All right. The article has been automatically clipped from the Rocky Mountain News Daily, December 1st, 1906, organized into a single column, then optimized for display on your computer screen. As a result, it may not look exactly as it did on the original page. The article be seen in its original form in the page view. The Brotherhood of Light. I see by late issues of papers from your state that some interest has been stirred up from the fact that the state humane agent has reported that a colony of the Brotherhood of Light at Oahspe is maltreating a number of founding children whom they have collected from Chicago and elsewhere. The charges are that these little ones are actually being starved as no meat is given to them to eat, nor milk to drink. It is claimed that some of the children have died. I happen to know something about the Brotherhood and its little settlement in your state. The Brotherhood believes in a curious book called the Oahspe Bible, and they are endeavoring to establish a community on earth in harmony with the teachings of that book. They believe in God as the all light and teach that his followers should obey literally the golden rule, which is thou shalt not kill, and live the non-resistant life that Buddha and Christ taught. They gather fondlings and other waifs from the cities and place over them mothers and try to throw around them a spiritual environment, teaching them that faith in God and spiritual things are more real than the trees and the mountains or gold or silver, that people who do not yearn for spiritual things do not know them, and that those who do not love God do not know him, that this generation is up to its neck in the mud of materialism. All of that is rather good teaching. One of their cardinal principles is, and it is not a bad one, that the way to establish the kingdom of God on earth is to develop in children the higher faculties, which alone understand higher things. Love for others and pity for the helpless are as natural as breathing to at least some of these people. Look at this. Scoot over. I am sure with many grains of salt, the stories about the maltreatment of infants by this Brotherhood, quite likely some of the foundlings have died. About 4/5 of foundlings die in our great cities under the best medical treatment. Knowing what I do about the Brotherhood, I would be very much astonished to see it proven that anyone in authority among them was guilty of the slightest intentional cruelty to a child or any other living thing. And this day, when doctors so differ as to diet, it is not sure proof of cruelty that a child is being weaned from the meat diet. The Japanese soldiers got along pretty well on an almost exclusive vegetarian diet during the late Russo-Japanese War. And Professor Chittenden of Yale University has shown that meat is not altogether essential in the development of an all-around physical or physically healthy man. Of course, this Brotherhood is not altogether orthodox. Yet of these three, faith, hope, and charity, the greatest is charity. And these people seem to have charity developed in an unusual degree. I trust that the Colorado authorities will let the Brotherhood work out its experiment, and then does it quite behoove us to throw stones because one or two children have died in their settlement, since in a city like New York, 500 children are permitted to die weekly, as was true last August. Yours very truly, I.K. Funk, New York, November 25th, 1906. Now look at this right here. Newspaper apologizes and clears up initial lies. Really? Look at this. Durango Semi-Weekly Herald, volume 25, number 14, October 25th, 1906. The Brotherhood of Light. They apologized to them. Wow. Look at this. The Pagosa Springs New Era has the following to say of the Brotherhood of Light, which is very different from the reports which have been published heretofore. The babies sent to the Brotherhood of Light home are of that unfortunate class who come into the world almost without exception with the stamp of death already upon them. Authorities agree that 75% of this class of children die in infancy. The yellow journals of Denver, especially the Times and the Post, have during the past few days been printing lurid, untruthful, and we suppose malicious attacks upon the management of the Brotherhood of Light colony near Arabolis. While the New Era editor has never personally visited the home, he has made exhaustive inquiry concerning conditions there and feels satisfied, as do practically all of the people of Archuleta County, that there is no word of truth in the highly colored statements given to the press by evil-minded frauds or irresponsible space writers. We regret that lack of space forbids a showing up of the whole dirty fight against Mr. Rose and his associates. But when Mr. Kerr or any other representative of the State Humane Society comes here to prosecute Mr. Rose, His word will be alone against every reputable neighbor, not Mexicans or Indians, of the Brotherhood of Light form and every person who is familiar with conditions there. Original source. Let's clear up the lies. Details. The Brotherhoods were in operation from 1902 to the 1930s. On October 12, 1906, H.B. Kerr and public health officials had visited the Brotherhood at Arabolas and left apparently satisfied that the children were well cared for, although they were concerned about the vegetarian diet. However, 3 days later, on October 15th, the Denver Press came out with glaring headlines and awful pictures of starving children at Arabolas. The published records indicate that H.B. Kerr brought charges against the Brotherhood of Light, George C. Rose, and Winnie Wheeler on the 25th day of October, 1906, for the death of one child, Maybelle Strangely. 12 children have turned into one. Remember, 12 children had died. According to the rumor, they starved to death 12 children. Huh? But no, on the 25th day of October, 1906, for the death of one child, Maybelle Strangely. So now 12 children have turned into one? The hell? And they're telling you, look, they receiving these children already at the point of death. And then they say it's 500 children die in New York City every day. Remember H.B. Kerr, who was so outraged at the treatment of the children? The case came to trial in January 1907. When H.B. Kerr did not appear in court on the day the case was heard, the district attorney asked that the case against the Brotherhood of Light, Rose, and Wheeler be dismissed because the district attorney felt the suit against the Brotherhood of Light, Rose, and Wheeler was an attempt to influence an election. Look at that. The case was dismissed after comments by the judge that he felt the Brotherhood of Light was doing a service to care for foundling children. After selling their property, the Brotherhood left Arabolas with their children and moved to Las Crencha, California, near Los Angeles, to join the Cuddle Dune Faithist group. So that's 13 plus 20 children in California for a total of 33 children raised to adulthood. Can't believe everything you see on Google, goofy. Wig shot. The same bias, prejudice, hate, and classism being shown to these faithists at the turn of the century is the same hate, prejudice, classism, and bias the faithists are receiving today from the religious Christians, Islamists, Hebrews, and so-called learning today. Let that sink in a second. Dang. Rumor that JBN was a Mason. Here's another one. That Masonic rites were practiced at Shalom. Shalom was sold to Newbro by a Mason. Plus, Newbro was buried with Masonic rites in the Masonic gravesite. Now, let me show y'all the difference between objective truths and subjective feelings and opinions. See, if I held the Bible to the same standards and made the claim that the author of the KJV is a Mason and a practicing demonologist and that the entire KJV is a Masonic Bible. Yeah. It is then incumbent upon me to now factually prove my claim. See, when we make the claim that King James was a Mason, we have to go no further than the Masons themselves to prove it. And there he is. There go your boy King James right there, boy. King James VI of Scotland. Well, let's go see. It's King James VI of Scotland, and this is the guy who authorized your King James Bible, who wrote demonology, and who Jamestown, Virginia is named after. This guy right here. Okay? Now, the naysayers are saying that John Newbro was a Mason. He was a Freemason. We hear it all the time. No, the Bible you clutching on to with reverence is actually a Freemasonic book. Really? That's crazy. Source from the Memorial Ministries website, King James, the founder of Freemason lodges. Let's read it. The history of King James's role in the formation of Freemasonry is mandatory reading in the Hiram Key Book of Masonic Scrolls, attempting to link Christ with the pharaohs. Freemasonry in its present form came into being through the lodge system, established under the auspices of King James VI of Scotland. That's whose name is on your King James Bible. Hmm? 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 Freemasonry in its present form came into being through the lodge system, established under the auspices of King James VI of Scotland, later King James I of England, the only son of Roman Catholic Mary Queen of Scots. At the age of 37, 2 years after becoming a Mason, James became the first Stuart King of England and immediately began to persecute the Puritans, rejecting their petition to reform the Church of England along biblical lines. James was initiated into Freemasonry, into the Lodge of Scone in Perth in 1601 at the age of 35. 15 years after taking active control of Scotland and 5 years before becoming an English monarch, he ordered that the Masonic structure be given leadership and organization. He made a senior Mason named William Shaw his general warden of the craft and instructed Shaw to revamp the entire structure of Freemasonry into what it became today. Shaw commenced this project on 28th of December, 1598, on the orders of James. To this day, the 1611 edition of the King James Bible remains the Freemason Bible and is the edition conventionally used in secret Masonic temple rituals. And there are all the brews. I got the 1611 King James with the Apocrypha in it. Boy, you got your Bible is a Freemason Bible. Huh? The King James Bible is a Freemasonic Bible. It's the book that's used in secret Masonic temple rituals. If y'all understand that, drop a 4,000 in the chat back. We got the year. We got the lodge. We got the register. James was initiated. You can't get past this. All the Israelites holding on to the 1611 King James Bible. That's the Masonic Bible. Yeah, your Bible, the King James Bible is a Freemason Bible. There you go talking about John Newbro was a Mason. No. Wrong again. No, King James is the Mason, the Freemason. We got the lodge and we got the yurt. He's on record. He's a registered Freemason in the Lodge of Scone and Perth in Scotland in 1601, which means he's a Scottish Rite Mason. Scottish Rite Freemason. So guess what that means, brothers? And I hate the bird. No, not hate. I love the bust your bubble on this one. If he's a Scottish Rite Freemason, that means he's not what you call a black man. Oh my. Yeah, you know the images. I got the books. The images of Black King James and all that. Yeah. But he's a Scottish Rite Freemason. You got your Scottish Rite and you got your Yorkshire. The Black Freemasons had to go get permission from the Scottish Rite in Yorkshire. They had to fill out an application. And that's why all the Black Masons are Prince Hall Masons. Yeah, Prince Hall had to go get permission. He had to submit an application into the lodges of Scotland and England in order to be recognized by them. So no, King James was not a black man, not if he's a Scottish Rite Freemason. Man, it's all over but the shouting. It's all over but the shouting. Just read again. James was initiated into Freemasonry into the lodges of Scone and Perth in 1601 at the age of 35, 15 years after taking active control of Scotland. And 5 years before becoming English monarch. He ordered that the Masonic structure be given leadership and organization. He made a senior Mason named William Shaw his general warden of the craft and instructed Shaw to revamp the entire structure of Freemasonry into what it became today. Shaw commenced this project on the 28th of December, 1598 on the order of James. To this day, you ordering your 1611 King James Bible, you don't want to read Oahspe because he was a Freemason. All while clutching with reverence your 1611 King James Bible with the Apocrypha in it. That is the Freemason Bible. Like my brother Dre said, that means you bros are low-key Masons, man. And if you get into the cover page of the 1611, it's all Masonic regalia on it, all of it. You can't get the Genesis, the first page in the King James 1611 Bible without running into all types of Masonic regalia. I'm talking about the cover page, the title page. It's all Masonic. It's all Masonic. That means all you brews and Christians are low-key Masons. And y'all trying to say the faith is a Masons. No, trick no good. To this day, the 1611 edition of the King James Bible remains the Freemason Bible. That is the Freemason Bible. And is the edition conventionally used in secret Masonic temple rituals. And you know what's crazy? I know that to be true. Some of y'all in St. Louis know our brother Gedaliah or Dwight Ashby. Gedaliah Israel, big old Getty. Yeah. His father was a well-known Mason in St. Louis. Well-known Mason. Years ago, his father died. You know, we went into U City over Gedaliah's house, right? And man, we walked in that deal, boy, and on the podium, not on the podium, right on like the, what is that, where the fireplace is at, where you can sit stuff up on, that right up in there, right? Man, there's a big old blue King James Bible, right? And they got the compass and the squirrel right on the front of that deal. And that deal say the King James Masonic Bible on it. I say, dang. And we had just left Bible class, Sabbath service, reading out the King James Bible. I never forgot that, man. You did. So I'm like, well, maybe that say something different than what, man, you go right to Genesis 1:1, Revelation 22:1. It say the same damn thing, man. It's the same exact thing, same words. It's just they wouldn't hide it. His brothers of the lie gave him a King James Bible that had the square and compass on it. Yeah, Bronze, it was sitting on the mantle. It was sitting on the mantle, big as a mug, too. Bigger than Big Blue Oahspe. You know what I mean? Big old sucker. I said, dang, man. I never forgot that. I said, wow. So when I read this, and it was saying that the King James Bible remains the Freemason Bible and is the edition conveniently used in secret Masonic temple rituals, I know that to be true. I know that firsthand to be true because my brother, Dwight Ashby, Gedaliah in St. Louis, Big Getty. Y'all know, some of y'all that familiar with St. Louis brews know Getty. His father was a well-known Mason, didn't hide it either. When he passed, we all went over his crib just to, you know, condolences to Getty and all that. Man, we walked up in there on the mantle, like my brother Brian, sitting on the mantle, big as day. King James Mason Bible, Masonic Bible, square and compass on the front of it, given to his father by his brothers in the lodge. And the words in there were the exact same words that I had in my 1611 Bible that I had in my bag out in the car because we had just left Sabbath class. Good night, boy. Good night. You over talking about some that we low-key dealing with masonry. No. Like Drea say, Masons wear fringes too. Look at it. Moriel does not, however, believe that the Masonic association with the KJV or the Freemasonry of King James, founder of the Masonic Lodge system, founder of the Masonic Lodge system, dang, detracts from the validity of this outdated but valid translation of the Bible. Nonetheless, it is the Freemason Bible and has been from its inception. Good night, boy. Empty the whole magazine, boy. Oh my God, bro. Hey, look, it's all over but the shouting. You're so mad at Oahspe. You got no reason to be. You got no reason to be. You did everything you throw over this way, you already guilty of it. Witchcraft, you guilty of witchcraft already. Blood magic, you already guilty of that. You know, JBN was a Mason. No, King James actually is a Mason, and the King James Bible is the Freemason Bible, and King James is actually, you know, charged with being the founder of the Masonic Lodge system. What? Nonetheless, it is the Freemason Bible and has been from its inception. Commissioned and authorized by the same Freemason king who commissioned and authorized the Masonic Lodge structure. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about, man. We can only speculate how many members of the KJV only cult are in fact Freemasons. Bag drop, boy. Wig shot, head shot. Dang. Hold on. Don't you ever bring false God business to me. Hold on. Why can't none of you supposed scholars and smart guys and fake spiritual gurus do the same for John Newbro? So really, it's you Negroes we got to worry about. It is the demonic indoctrination of the writings of King James that is the source of the reason why many of you Bible thumpers and Bible huggers readily admit that you'll sacrifice your children if a spirit comes in light. Detail. As of October 2nd, 2023. We put this together 3 years ago. King James is the founder of the Masonic Lodge system. The King James Bible is the Freemason Bible and has been since its inception. The King James Bible is used in all Freemasonic temples and rituals. King James was initiated in 1601 into the Lodge of Scone in Perth in Scotland as a Freemason. It's all over but the shouting. As of October 2nd, 2023, there is no Masonic or Freemasonic lodge in the United States or the world for that fact that has Jean Bilal Newbro entered as an apprentice or even visiting the lodge. No sponsor or date of inception has been found through 11 years of diligent research. Damn. Boy, hold on. So just like we just went and showed King James in 1601, Lodge of Scone in Perth, initiated as a Freemason. Y'all can't do the same with John Newbro. What year was he initiated as a Freemason? Niggas like he was a 33rd degree Freemason. What year was he initiated as a Freemason? What's the lodge name? Where's the register? Who vouched for him? Who put him on? Hey man. It is documented that rituals were used at Shalom. Research indicates that successful groups such as the Faith and Brotherhood of Light and Cuddle Doon use Shalom rituals. Some of these rites were later published in the Faithist hymnal. Newbro did not own Shalom. Andrew Holland's name is on all the deeds, showing him as owner of the land that became Shalom. Is it possible that a Mason could have purchased some of the many parcels of land that Holland sold? Yeah, it's possible, but unproven. But what is well documented is that Nubro was buried at Shalom. When there was flooding on what had been Shalom land, Justine Nubro Holland had Nubro's coffin moved to the public cemetery in Las Cruces, New Mexico. The public cemetery has burials of many religious faiths, including Roman Catholic, nuns, Jews, and probably a few Masons. Universal Faithists of Cosmon members designed and paid for Nubro's headstone, and Faithists installed the headstone fulfilling the wishes of the author, Mrs. Katie Stowes, that Nubro's grave be marked. This is John Nubro's. And shout out to my sister Yafa. Yafa actually went down and saw it for herself. Yafa in the chat. Where's the Masonic regalia? Where's the square and compass? This is John Nubro's headstone. These are all faithist symbols right here. This ain't got nothing to do with Freemasonry. Yeah, send me whatever you can, Yafa. I think the point's been proven. These mumble mouth misfits don't know what the hell they talking about. Point has been proven. Yafa actually went and saw it herself. Yafa say, look, later, Father. I'm tired of everybody running their mouth. I'm gonna go see for myself. Look what Yafa say. His grave was moved to a Masonic graveyard. Hold on. Right here. Look what Yafa say. His grave was moved to a Masonic graveyard on Masonic Street. I saw it. They moved his grave. What are we really even talking about here, man? Look what Yafa say. Yafa ain't sit back and wait. That's my sister. She wasn't sitting back, tiptoeing through the tulips. She actually herself went down to New Mexico herself and saw the gravesite, the headstone of John Nubro. I got some paperwork from the cemetery. I have to copy and send it to you, man. Yeah, send it to me, sis. Email me. But see, Yafa went down there after Cal had already put all this together. You see? So verifying what Cal put together is true. John Nubro was not a Mason. We got boots on the ground. What the hell wrong with y'all, man? Yeah, we might have to call you the Swift Messenger, Yafa. Yafa the Swift Messenger in this deal. Unto thee, Jehovah, Creator, be praised and thanks for Brother John Nubro, June 5th, 1828, April 23rd, 1891, through whose hands Oahspe, the New Bible, was transcribed for the work. There ain't no Masonic symbols on her. But guess what? These symbols are in Oahspe. Symbol for the name of the Creator. That's Foma. It's Abraham. It's in your nostrils. The 9 entities. Y'all, this is faithist symbols and all that. See? Showing that these aren't Masonic symbols on his tombstone, they are faithist symbols directly out of Oahspe. Oahspe reveals that the wise man proves all things meritoriously, which is the way of God. One must then logically ask the question, where do these Masonic accusations come from? Details. It actually seems to stem from a lack of comprehension and faulty reasoning. For anyone who has actually read Oahspe, the breakdown of the number 33 could very well be causing the cognitive dissonance we've been witnessing by race baiters and detractors of Oahspe. It is commonly understood today that 33 is applied to the Masons, and if one was to attempt to cherry pick Oahspe's information and ran across the explanation for 33, an incorrect assumption could be made. And this historically is what has seemed to have happened concerning John Newbrough and his invented tie to masonry. There is no Masonic writings that mention Oahspe at all, not one. Spiritual FYI. The two greatest literary Masons, Albert Pike, died 20 days before John Newbrough. Look at this slope-headed monstrosity. Albert Pike. I know a so-called Essene Nazarene reject that try to throw out a masonry on John Newbrough. And man, I'm like, look, go sit down somewhere. And I'm pretty sure he's listening right now. Well, you just got slapped all across your face with truth. Huh? Slapped all across your giles with truth. And manly PR. Pike, the prolific writer, never mentions the number 33 in his writings, such as Morals and Dogma, pre his death in 1891. It is not till 1934, when Hall, through his seminal Masonic work, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, that the number 33 is explained through Masonic understanding. 33 was already in Oahspe. Albert Pike ain't writing about the number 33. It ain't till 1934 that you got Manly P. Hall. So who getting what from who? Why is it 33 degrees in masonry? Spirit regeneration would take place by degrees through the 33rd vertebrae of the spinal column until reaching the pituitary gland, which invokes the pineal body. The science of this regeneration is one of the lost keys of Freemasonry. And it is this reason why ancient Freemasonry was founded upon 33 degrees, which is, by the way, not the explanation for 33 given in Oahspe. No, 33 is more cosmological. It's the way we track time. Yeah, it's the way we track time. You did. Oh, my God. Research has shown that the number 33 was not used publicly by Masons prior to 1891. So prior to John Newbrough's death, Masons were not using the number 33. Hey, man. Y'all got to leave me alone, man. Just out here just lying. It didn't got to the point that if you're speaking, you're lying, man. And the death of JBN. It is not till 43 years after the death of John Newbrough that 33 begins to be applied and explained in Masonic literature. There are no ties objectively between Masonry and Oahspe. Good night, boy. There's an old saying. There's an old saying in the hood that goes, if you want to hide the truth from a Negro, put it in a book. I encourage all to become true scholars and do your due diligence. Don't listen to the unintelligent and unwise who slander and create subjective opinions about a topic that they actually have no knowledge of. Hebrews want you to believe that bowing down and praising their pale-faced deity is better for the black community. How is that better than getting back in touch with your creator, nature, and perfecting yourself? Ephesians 6, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of heart, as unto Christ. Christ, the horse-riding idol with a sword, who judges and practices war and carries a secret name his worshipers do not know. Revelation 19, that name has been revealed as Luamong. You got to get into Oahspe to understand that. God's book of Ezra, Oahspe, chapter 47. We wrapping up. We'll come to a part 3. Luamong falsely announces himself the Christ. The Lord said, behold, it came to pass as had been foretold by God, Jehovah's son. The triunes or the Trinity will all become false gods. Yeah. And why you got people like God, like Jesus is God. And the Holy Spirit. And I ain't never seen somebody break down so much and cry on camera. Oh man, we flipped the Jehovah's Witness. The Holy Spirit touches his heart. You start snotting and man, look, be a man. You know what's wrong with you? The Trinity or the triunes will all become false gods because they have denied the Almighty. God said there is only one who is all knowledge. Whatever angel or God announces himself to be all knowledge or omniscient is false in the presence of the Creator. Nevertheless, Luamung had it proclaimed in heaven and earth that he was the Christ, which is the Ahamic expression for all knowledge. The Lord said, now therefore, Luamung was from this time forward a false God in heaven and on earth. That's your Jesus Christ right there. False God named Luamung, coming with a name that don't nobody know. We know it. Since y'all don't read Oahspe, you wouldn't know. So in short, you're wrapping up. So in short, your Christ is a false God, which makes sense because only a demon would tell you to serve a slave master in the same way you serve them. Let that sink in a second. Not only does Oahspe reveal any so-called saviors or in fact tyrants, Book of Safar 8838, who are saviors? Answer. Familiar spirits who have kingdoms and atmosphere, which by the ancients was called the lower heaven. Saviors are tyrants who make slaves of other spirits, who believe in them. Their slaves are sent back to mortals as guardian angels or familiars in order to make captives of mortals after death, to augment, to improve the Savior's kingdom in atmosphere. So the biblical demon wants you to be a slave on earth and also a slave in the afterlife. But the Creator tells you to use your brain. See, think for yourself, man. Book of Inspiration, Oahspe, headshot. Chapter 9, verse 4. I say to you, O man, in this I also gave you liberty. Therefore judge for yourself as to which came from me and which from his surroundings, Satan. You should be your own judge in all things. Behold, I sent my God to judge you. But you shall also judge the judgments of your God, and afterward you shall judge yourself in the same way. I created you a perpetual judge, not only to judge yourself and all the world besides, but you should judge me, your Creator. Look at that. Look at that. You see, Creator ain't got nothing to hide. You should be able to critique everything and everyone that's around you. Why not? Why not? I have given you many sacred books, and I said to you, unless you judge them, you shall be caught in a snare. I charge you, you shall accept nothing from men, angels, or gods, but you shall rely on your own inspiration from your Creator. And in the words of the great American poet Tupac Amaru Shakur, use your brain. Use your brain. Ooh, what page we get down on here? Woo, we got down to page 79. 20 more pages to go. Matter of fact, Cal says 106 pages on this deal, man. You dig? So look, if y'all got some understanding today, man, we came in today clearing up rumors and lies, and we got more too. We gonna deal with the whole, LSD and babies' booties. Like, what kind of madness is being said out here, man? But if y'all got some understanding today, drop a 20,000 in the chat. It's your little brother Malaki Macabee, the Megaton Light Bomb. And like I say, man, we out here kicking ass and taking names, man. All praises to the Creator, the God maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars, the always was, is, and ever shall be, the mighty and great Spirit, the mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. You dig? Oahspe, the book the world is in fear of. Clearing up rumors, part 2, boy. Clearing up rumors, part 2. Huh? Love y'all.
Yeah. Coming in the air air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Sirens in the night, nobody shocked at the noise. Yellow tape stretch where they once played as boys. Numbers on the screen turning life to a choice. Timeline scroll quick, life never had a voice. Crowds gather round, but the questions remain. Everybody seen it, but ain't got a name. Patterns in the chaos, but it's easier to blame with whatever narrative the channels want to frame. History buried, but it bleed through the cracks. Old warnings written, now they line up with facts. Same cycles turning, just a different set of acts. Same end result every time it collapsed. Nobody asking why the pressure's immense, or why it feel heavier just to exist. Everything loud, laced with suspense, like something got taken without any compense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Books full of knowledge, but the spirit get ignored. Mapped out the stars, they think Saturn's the Lord. Charts on the wall, got them feeling the shore. Cut off anything that ain't measured or explored. Teach what they see, all else is dismissed. Call it blasphemy if it don't coexist with the data they gather in the systems they script. Truth get narrowed down to the lens they equip. People walk around like they stuck in a phase. Talk like they living, but they lost in the maze. Can't tell the difference, real life in the stage. Playing out scripts that they write on a page. Try to speak deep but get labeled intense. Say it's too much or it don't make sense. But the more that they reject, the more it commence. Like a loop that repeat with a porous defense. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Big buildings rise, put a crown on the place. Call it center of the world, everything in second place. Power gets stacked, now it's all about the race. Who can dominate the map, who can regulate the space. Leaders speak loud, but it's all self-interest. Every move calculated, never random in the business. Send waves out with just a widen the distance between those who comply and those in resistance. Glory on display, make it look like it's pure, but behind closed doors, it's a different report. Decisions getting made that the public can't afford, where disease get patented without no cure. Expansion the goal and never knowing it ends. Armies of the gods cleanse the land of descent. Every structure built will eventually bend. When it's rooted in control, it despises free men. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense. Time coming close where it won't be belief. Things getting shown, put the doubters to sleep. Not a matter of opinion, a scientific retreat. When it's sight in the eye, can't deny what it see. Proof in the works, even if it take time. Generations build just to reach that line where the truth stand clear, not hidden in lies. And the ones who deny get washed in the tide. Some will accept, some will turn away fast. Some in the trance to the spells that they cast, but the ship still move it the way to just pass. Answers was written before the questions was asked. Everything aligned and every sign killed fear. Past meet present, now the picture feel clear. What was once questioned now's turning the gears, and the record been there, just ignored through the years. Coming in the air, something heavy, intense. Signs in the sky, but they hide the evidence. Old text lining up that predicted events. Oahspe the book that make it all make sense.
Yeah.
Fetal in the room, the spirit remain.
Yeah.
Feel in the room, the spirit remain.
Cold spot
hit and the temperature change. Same bad habit, different way to obtain. Still here, stuck without a humanly frame. Drift to the rooms where the smokers change. In the mix, in the kitchen, in the meats and grains. Corners of alleys where the dice get played. At the table, at the weddings where the toast get made. Vito, seen a man get shot, it was heard across town. Couple weeks later, same corner, more rounds. Nobody thinking that this man's still around, but something fell off when the sun meet the ground. Same late nights, same drinks go down. Same tight anger that he had being found. Shorty's feeling watched, been hearing some sound. Sometimes the light flickers, she swear it's profound. They still want intoxicants, remember the vice. They still chase the same lick on temporary highs. Don't know that they dead, thought they ducked that line and returned to the places that they used to reside. They walk with everybody, each breath in stride. They on the far side and they passing you by. Fresh out the body, but lost in the mind. Just stuck in the loop, untouched by time. Feeling on the spirit remain. Cold spot hit and the temperature change. Same bad habit, different way to obtain. Still here, stuck without a humanly frame. Drift to the rooms where the smokers change. In the mix, in the kitchen, in the meats and grains. Corners of alleys where the dice get played. At the table, at the weddings where the toast get made. Vito. Walk in the bar, the whole vibe unright, like pressure getting trapped up inside of a pipe. People laughing loud, but it don't feel right, like something sit in the thick of the night. Back of the club where the fights ignite, that's where they all gather. When the energy spike, they ain't evil by nature or acting out of spite. They don't know how to grapple with their spiritual might. Same with the man taking shots at the bar. Fetal sitting next to him, opening scars. Prey on the weak, cause they see all the cards and siphon all the essence that you hold in your heart. They move with the living unseen in the dark, just past the veil and not too far. Some get attached and keep dulling your spark, still tied to the habits that shape who they are. Fetal in the room, the spirit remains. Cold spot hit and the temperature change. Same bad habit, different way to obtain. Still here, stuck without a humanly frame. Drift to the rooms where the smokers change. In the mix, in the kitchen, in the meats and grains. Corners of alleys where the dice get played. At the table, at the weddings where the toast get made. Think about the weight that people carry. Pain passed down, get real hereditary. Habits repeat like nobody learning. Same flame touch, same fingers burning. What if it's more than just will and choice, but more in the background, more in the noise, more in the pressure that be breaking your poise, more in the pull that retracts your voice. Teachers say you can rise on your own. Break every tie, don't bow to a throne. Clean up now while the breath still is blown, so your record reflect what you respect and condone. Leaving the body ain't freedom alone. If the mind's still tied to what addiction is known. Fetals ain't evil, they just lost in the zone. Still trying to live a life that they lived at home. Fetal in the room, the spirit remains. Cold spot hit and the temperature change. Same bad habit, different way to obtain. Still here, stuck without a humanly frame. Drift to the rooms where the smokers change. In the mix, in the kitchen, in the meats and grains. Corners of alleys where the dice get played. At the table, at the weddings where the toast get made. Fetal.